Welcome back to the home of cricket, Lords, for the climax of this year's Inter-Service T20 Championships. We've had a bit of everything today. We had an abandoned match with the rain hampering affairs this morning, the UCAF women up against MCC. We then had a fascinating finish with the RAF just losing to the British Army in the dying moments of that match. The Royal Navy, the RAF's next opponents in the final match of today's proceedings, fresh off the back of a victory against the British Army earlier in the week. Can they go on to win the silverware this time, or will the RAF stop them in their tracks? So without further ado, just ahead of the game getting going, we'll pass across to our commentators.
Hello, welcome back this afternoon at Lords, and the final game of this triangular over 2 days between the armed forces. The Navy beat the Army yesterday, and the Army responded by edging out the RAF in a nail-biter just now, chasing down, it's around about 90, it was 88 runs in 12 overs. And now for the final day, the final game of today, the final game of the series, the Navy in deep blue taking on the sky blue of the RAF. And if the Navy win this, they've won 2 from 2. And if the RAF win this, then everyone's won 1 each. So we'll find out what the permutations are as we go. But the Navy, if they can win this game, that means they've beaten the Army yesterday and the RAF today. And we are, of course, at Lords. And the Navy have won the toss in this T20. We only had a 12-over-a-side game between the Army and the RAF, but a full 20 overs now, and we're starting by the Navy, who've won the toss and are batting, and already the first 2 runs of the innings from Hewitt, the opening batsman for the Navy, wearing a white wristband just above the glove on his left arm, number 1 on his back, a little swivel pull shot jab around the corner brings him 2 runs past the fielder, and already there's a change of field as the man at short fine leg is replaced. So 2 for none off the first ball. Shorthouse, the opening batsman, is also the opening bowler for the RAF. A quick action, right arm round the wicket off spin, and a dot ball to follow up that 2. Joined of course by Nick von Schlipper, who we'll hear from in just a second, as a crashing drive brings 4 from the 3rd ball of the innings. Hewitt getting to the pitch of that one, just easing it through the vacant area. Short boundary away to that grandstand side. Classical piece of batting.
Yes, a very good start there from Robbins. 6 off the first 3 balls. The first stroke was a bit of a misfield, allowed him to get 2, but that was a lovely drive through a well-populated field in that extra cover area for 4.
Robbins off strike, it's Hewitt facing, and he's 6 off 3, and it's 7 off 4 as he attempts the paddle sweep, gets a little under edge, and the umpire doesn't signal leg by. So yeah, that's 7 runs to Hewitt, just stretching out his
hamstring.
hamstring
To give
there.
Hewitt the benefit of the doubt there. I thought he played it very delicately, so it didn't go to the fielder too quickly. On the other hand, he does look like he's hurt himself in the process.
Little drop shot maybe, as the batsman Robbins now faces up and just helps it off his pads for a easy single. Scampering man at short mid wicket comes round quickly to field. So Robbins 1 from 1 off the mark. The Army, the Army's not, they're not playing. It's the Royal Navy who are batting. They're 8 for no loss off 5. Shorthouse now to complete the first over for the RAF, and it tucks up Hewitt, who manages to help it off his hip for a single. So great start by Hewitt. 8 off 5. Robbins 1 from 1. 9 without loss. The Navy looking to post as high a total as possible in this, the final T20 of the triangular series.
Yes, excellent start there from Hewitt and Robbins, the opening batsmen for the Royal Navy, who've won the toss and elected to bat. Shorthouse, we saw him do extremely well in the previous match against the Army. He took 3, perhaps even 4 wickets, I believe, from memory. So they did very well to take him on and score so many runs off his opening over.
They did indeed, and a couple of tips off the hip and off the pads, and then a glorious cover drive from Hewitt. So capability of scoring all round the ground is evident already. Navy playing their first game today, RAF their second after narrowly missing out against the Army moments ago. Back foot punch attempted by Hewitt, straight back to the bowler, who is Hawke, who bowled tidily at the top of the innings against the Army. Medium pacer, short and skiddy. Shirt tucked in as he comes away towards us at the nursery end before pirouetting back to the crease. And he comes now. It's a good length delivery and will bring a quick single, and the Navy will have to be nimble, and they are. Unsurprisingly, you'd think. Hewitt moves to 9. Robbins back on strike. He's on 1, 10 for no loss, the Navy.
Yes, that was very well run. Hawke was down quickly, but just couldn't quite field off his own bowling. So they did have to judge that, and also how close the ball was to the man who was coming in from mid-on. Wasn't too far away, but they managed to run a quick single. Good running there.
10 for no loss. Robbins, the man on strike. He's on 1, and he goes to clobber it through mid-wicket. That's an excellent shot. Picked the length early. Hawke dropping his length to poor effect, and an eased pull shot brings Robbins his first boundary off just his second ball. He's 5 off 2.
Yes, and he's frustrated there with himself, Hawke. He dropped it short. It was wide off the off stump, and it just sat up so nicely, allowing Robbins to rock back and just ease a pull shot through mid-wicket. It's a short boundary there in front of the grandstand where most of the spectators are. Sort of greyish skies overhead, but touch wood, there's no rain forecast for the remainder of the day. We have lost a fair bit of play today, but at the moment we're still scheduled for the full 20 overs aside.
Here comes Hawke, 4th ball of the over. It's fuller length, it's directed towards the pads. It's going to be 4 more for the Navy and for Robbins, who swished off the front foot and got the inside shoulder of the bat with enough contact, and it sped away past backward square. Again to that short boundary. Directed a pull shot out the middle of the bat. That wasn't quite the same, but the same result. Excellent intent here from Robbins. 9 off 3. Facing up to Hawke. Penultimate ball of the second over. A big swing and no contact this time. Dot ball outside the off stump.
Yes, that ball just slightly short there, and he thought that he had a chance for the big pull shot, but it didn't seem to get up at all. So he went for the big shot through mid-wicket and didn't quite work out.
Yeah, shot through low to the wicketkeeper, who couldn't gather cleanly. Final ball, smoking drive through the covers. It beats the man who dives to his left at extra cover, but well fielded on the boundary by cover. So 2 runs to end the over, a fruitful over for the Navy. 20 off 2. A roaring start for the men in deep blue. And the RAF on the ropes in their second game. The Navy fresh, of course, having not played yet today. Bouncing from their victory over the Army, who've, Nick Headley, fellow commentator, was telling me, have been absolutely dominant in recent years in this fixture. 2014, I believe, might have been the last time the Navy took the prize in the triangular. As Hewitt plays quietly into the onside off the front foot in defence. Shorthouse with a second over at the top of the innings. Round the wicket he comes, sleeves rolled up halfway. Again, it's on the front foot, push this time to square leg where there is no fielder. So easy single for Hewitt. Robbins on strike again. McCabe with the fielding.
Yes, Shorthouse, the captain, looking to lift his team after not a great start in the first 2 overs.
And he comes short of a length and tipped away square of the wicket. Carbon copy from Robbins. 22 for no loss.
Bowling right arm off spin from the pavilion end, so may get a little bit of assistance from the slope there.
Packed offside field, all in the ring. Man on the deep mid-on boundary and a man on the mid-wicket boundary as well. And it's Long On who will do the fielding, charging in from the pavilion. Another single to the total. So runs coming fast and dot balls few and far between. Even when it's not out the middle of the bat, runs are flowing. Hewitt now faces up. It's straight to the man at short fine leg. There really shouldn't be a run there, to be honest. He's well within the ring. It's the number 14 there. Straight to him. And he doesn't actually throw it in. And by the time he thought about a throw, fair play to Hewitt, he was backing up so quickly he was already in his ground. Hewitt now faces, goes back and tries to chop it into the offside. Again it's straight to the fielder, but again a single's taken with surprising ease from Hewitt. A very canny batsman here. He's already hit a few boundaries, one outstanding one through the covers, but picking up runs incredibly easily, whatever the ball, wherever they hit it, the Navy. The RAF can't seem to keep one batsman at one end and the other at the other.
Well, 5 singles off that over. Indeed, they couldn't keep a batsman at one end, but it is a big improvement. Just the 5 runs off that over after the first 2 overs went for 20. So certainly an improvement there from the bowling side's point of view.
So the field, a deep cover towards the tavern stand, which is the long boundary. And deep mid-off, everyone else in the circle. That time a dot ball, no. A slight misfield brings another single. And a throw with a bit of spite from the man at point who stopped the ball but couldn't gather. And the Navy were alert to the opportunity and seized it. So
Yeah,
26.
we've seen a few misfields and they're really not helping the cause there.
Robbins back on strike. He's 13 off 7 and he's going to be 14 off 8 as another quick single is nabbed by the Navy, and you can hear the rumbling applause in the background, which tells you that their fans know that they are on top here. They are seizing the initiative. They're alert to every possible opening. And now a big swing, but this time no contact. So a welcome dot ball for the RAF. Hawke just hiding it outside off stump, and the pull shot bringing no contact.
So that previous delivery was really excellent running because it was driven straight to the man at mid-on, but they didn't hesitate at all. And even though the ball went to him quite quickly, they ran the single very comfortably.
27 for none. Hewitt goes to cut. He doesn't time it, and it bobbles in front of Hawke, the bowler. Shorthouse comes around to do the fielding at extra cover, no run.
Well, certainly welcome a couple of dot balls here. It's been a pretty merciless assault. He's already conceded 13 runs off just 1.4 overs, Hawke. So he'll be happy with 2 dot balls.
Hawke in, 5th ball of the over. Another dot. Hat-trick of dots for Hawke.
A clever delivery there. A floated Yorker, a slower ball. Wide of the off stump. Had a chance to drive, but it just went straight to the fielder there.
Canny stuff from the opening bowler, who's in to complete his 2nd over. It's full, and again 4 dot balls in a row. That's an excellent over. Respite provided from Hawke from the nursery end. 4 dot balls to end the over, and a couple of singles was all the Navy could muster in that over. So some rhythm wrestled back by the RAF's bowling attack.
Yes, indeed, that was clever bowling. It's the longer boundary there if he's keeping the ball wide of the off stump to the right-hander. So he's managed to do that. It's well defended with the fielders within the circle, and he's just floated it up outside the off stump on a full length and got some good dot balls there.
We're going to change of bowling from the pavilion end. Shorthouse is going to make way for Hollingsworth. Just a reminder, we'd love to hear you if you are listening, wherever you are in the world. We're aware of a global audience for these games, so please do get in touch at ballbyball@mcc.org.uk. That's our email address. We're coming live to you from Lords, online, from within the ground, and also on BFBS's digital and television channels. So thank you so much for joining us for coverage of such a unique event here. Short ball from Hollingsworth, wide signalled by the umpire down the leg side, just rising above the left shoulder of the right-handed batsman Robbins, who went to pull but couldn't catch up to it.
Pretty aggressive start there with a short ball, but yes, it bounced up too high. He attempted to pull, but couldn't really get anywhere near it.
A couple of pigeons looking very settled just in front or to the left of the man at fine leg. He goes to attend to them, but they're unmoved. A full ball this time, so the short ball followed up by the near Yorker. It's straight, but it's going down the leg side, it seems, as signalled by the batsman, the umpire unmoved.
I think it may have hit him outside the line of off stump. It was very full. He came down the pitch slightly, but a decent shout. Certainly no shortage of aggression there from Hollingsworth.
Nothing less than you'd expect in a battle like this one, RAF versus Navy. Hollingsworth charging in with real venom. It's just tickled off the leg, maybe off the inside edge from Robbins, but with no pace, so the keeper will take no run.
Yeah, probably a small moral victory there from the bowler's point of view. I think it probably did come off the pad, but again it was a full length, full and straight, and a dot ball.
In again, Hollingsworth from the pavilion end, just popped up off the defence. A chance of a run out maybe. I think Hewitt at the non-strikers end was back in his crease, looking very lackadaisical there with both gloves off. Just slipped his back in as the underarm shy at the stumps came in.
Yes, that would have been interesting if that had hit, wouldn't it? Yes, he suddenly realised he had to scamper back. I suspect he was still back in.
Looks like he's going for a stroll in the park. Both gloves are in his hands. A big pull shot out to the long boundary. Is it going to be a catch? It is. RAF have made the breakthrough, and you sense it's a big one. Robbins was 9 off 3. He's now 14 off 11, and now he has to go. RAF just wrestling back some momentum there. 4 dot balls in the previous over, 2 there from the second and third ball, and then the short ball again from Hollingsworth into the arc of Robbins, who couldn't resist. He timed it well, but he just directed it to the long side of the ground, and the man who's a couple of yards, can't be any more, off the boundary, just taking it with ease at chest height. Simple catch in the end. A good piece of bowling, knowing that the coverage was out there. Not actually a bad shot in terms of technique and power, but directed straight to the man who's out there.
Yes, it's a bit unfortunate, as you say. He played a well-directed pull shot, but unfortunately it was McCabe who just needed to move a couple of steps to his left and take it comfortably at chest height. So that's the end of Robbins's innings. 14 off 11 balls, and good reward for Hollingsworth, who coming in for the 5th over has bowled aggressively and got his reward for that.
So 28 for 1. We've had 4.4 overs of this, the final game of the day, the final game in the triangular series between the armed forces. The Army losing to this Navy side yesterday before just edging the RAF in a thriller just before this game. So the final game between the RAF and the Navy, 28 for 1. Hewitt, the opening batsman, on 13, and the new man is Johnston, facing his first ball against Hollingsworth, who's coming in with zeal from the pavilion end. Up he bounds to the wicket. It's short and outside the off stump this time and signalled wide. Second wide of the over from Hollingsworth. Bowling with plenty of fury. That is well wide.
It was well wide. That does happen at the pavilion end particularly. But he's batting a couple of steps really out on the leg side for his first delivery. That possibly threw Hollingsworth off his game slightly.
Giving himself plenty of room to swing the arms. It's full and straight, and Johnson can only drop it just in front of him for the bowler to field. So good over this, 2 wides, but the wicket from it from Hollingsworth. He jogs back to his mark, plenty of energy, plenty of momentum.
Yes, he was stamping the with the ground, making sure that his footmarks were secure there. He's coming in from the edge of the fielding circle.
Pounding in comes Hollingsworth up to the wicket outside the off stump, clattering drive out to cover, who fields well, took the catch out there to the right-hander a couple of balls before. So Johnson has one off two. Hewitt will be starved of the strike because Johnson will take it. Hewitt's on 13, 30 for one are the Navy off the first 5 overs, looking to beat the RAF to seal what we think would be the first win for them in this tri-series since 2014. I'm going to make way now. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the coverage here at Lord's.
Yes, Johnson off the mark in style off that last ball, driving it through the covers for one. Hewitt at the other end, 13 not out, has become slightly calmed after his explosive start. There's going to be a change of bowling from the nursery end here. It's going to be Pearce coming on. He's going to be coming on and bowling to Johnson, who just got a single off that last ball. And Nick Headley's come to join me.
Hello Nick, how are you?
Very well indeed, all the better for being up here. And it's going to be Pearce coming in for his first delivery, left arm over the wicket, bowling, and he's driven through the covers. It's going to go for 4. The fielder was down but didn't manage to get hold of it, and that's 4 runs for Johnson, takes him up to 5.
Yeah, the Navy actually needed that boundary. They'd been significantly becalmed in the last 3 or so overs, and just the momentum shifting back to the RAF.
There's a little bit of width there, and he's in again, slightly pauses in his run-up, and that one is beautifully driven through extra cover for 4. Again, it was sort of ended up being a slightly wide half volley, really, there in the zone, asking to be hit, and Johnson obliged.
It was a lovely shot, wasn't he? Just threw his arms at it. And yeah, the ball flew towards the cover boundary.
So far this bowling change hasn't worked too well. Pearce bowling left arm seam over the wicket, comes in again to Johnson, and that's a better delivery. It beats him outside the off stump, so he got that one right.
A slightly slower delivery, wasn't it?
It was, yes. I think probably he went for a little bit more control, and yes, it really caught Johnson in 2 minds. He ended up basically playing a forward to prod and was beaten outside the off stump. A slight hold up in play. There's possibly a bit of movement behind the bowler's arm. The umpire's making a signal. Perhaps the side screen is being moved. Anyway, all that is settled, and now he's in again to bowl his 4th delivery. He's in now, and that one is wide outside the off stump, and he's forward, playing it off the outside edge. It's gone down to 3rd man. There's a fielder chasing it, but he doesn't manage to get there, and it trickles over the line for another 4.
It was a gallant effort, wasn't it, by the fielder down there. I'm not quite sure who it is, diving to try and stop the ball, but it just beat him. And well, Johnston's fireworks, 13 off 6.
Yes, indeed, very productive. Over 12 runs off it so far, but not off that delivery. It's good, good straight ball on off stump, and Johnson just plays it defensively. And it's picked up by Fisher at mid-on, no run. Score remains 42 for 1. 5 men in the circle on the offside, 2 men on the leg side, and 1 man on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and that is driven full and straight, but I think it's hit. Did it hit him on the foot, the bowler?
I think it hit Pearce on the boot, exactly.
I think so.
Actually, no, to give me credit, it was a bit of football, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I think he attempted to kick it onto the stumps, missed by quite a long way, it has to be said, but it would have been a pretty miraculous bit of football. I think Lionel Messi would have been proud of that.
Yeah, but I mean, that was hit hard, so he possibly saved the boundary, actually. That was, anyway, we've had a good look at Johnston, haven't we? I mean, he's an accomplished player.
Yes, he is indeed. You certainly don't want to give him a half volley. And it looks like Shorthouse is going to be coming back on, bowling a little bit of spin from the pavilion end. None for 14 of his 2 overs so far, so the captain bringing himself back on to bowl to Hewitt, making some adjustments in the field now. So there are 4 boundary fielders, 3 on the leg side, 1 on the off, and it's the man on the offside who's going to be called into play, and shies at the stumps because Johnson was a long way down. It was driven up to a man at a sort of wide mid-off position, and he was able to shy at the stumps, but he missed. So a dot ball in the end, but quite an eventful one. So he's in again, and he's bowling. Right arm round the wicket. That one's just played away on the leg side, no run. Shorthouse bustling, full of energy, wanting to lift his team with his body language. In again past the umpire, and he's making room for himself, attempting to cut, but misses and is beaten. Moral victory there for the bowler, Nick.
Certainly was, yeah. Just looking at the run rate here, it's sort of 6.5, 7. It's interesting. In the game before, that's where they were heading as well.
Yes, and that ball is well wide of the off stump. He moved the man from mid-on out into the defensive position on the offside, on the edge of the circle. So huge gap on the leg side now in front of square. He can get a single wherever he wants. But he bowled it so far wide of the off stump that he beat him. And this time he does get it away to the man at 3/4 on the leg side, the only fielder there, but he played it nice and softly, and so they were able to run through for a single.
Yeah, the other thing interesting, I mean, Hewitt has he has struggled a bit in the last little while. And he's now 14 off 21 deliveries.
Yes, he got off to a cracking start, but he has slowed down. It's going to be Johnson now, the left-hander. And this one is floated up and he's driving. It's going up to the man at long on. He comes in, they stroll through for a nice single, and that takes the score on to 44 for 1 at the end of the 7th over.
Well, it's a solid start, isn't it, for the Navy? But as I was saying before, the run rate, 6 or 7, that's sort of where we've seen in the last innings, where 24 overs, and it was around about 7 and over. So you sort of sense that a par score here is probably a sort of 150, 160, something like that.
It'll certainly be competitive. Looks like McCabe's going to be coming on. He took the catch earlier to dismiss Robbins. McCabe's going to be coming on with the nursery end. Not too much of a surprise that Pearce was taken off. His over was pretty expensive. He's going to be bowling to Johnson. Both batsmen are on 14, but Johnson off 9 balls, Hewitt off 21. Anyway, here's McCabe's first delivery. Right arm over the wicket, seam bowler. It's driven past him to long on. They've run 1 and they come back very quickly for a second. That's good running. Takes them on to 46 for 1.
I've noticed that Hewitt's very quick between the wickets, and he turned and he was well in his ground on that one.
He was indeed. McCabe was possibly admonishing the fielder a little bit, thought he might have been onto that quicker, but I'm not sure he would have beaten Hewitt anyway. Here he is for the second delivery to Johnson, and he's in now, and that's a good delivery, full and straight, and he just plays it back defensively. McCabe fields off his own bowling, no run.
The Navy look very smart, and then they're dark blue. I think I like.
You prefer that to the sky blue?
I do.
Well, it's the sky blue Navy bowler McCabe bowling, but that one goes down the leg side, and that's a wide. Haven't seen too many of those, Nick.
No.
They've been in pretty good control, but there's just the odd one that's straight down the leg side.
The odd one, yeah.
McCabe, tall, strong man, bustling in, and this one beats him outside the off stump. He was forward, attempting to make something happen, maybe get the ball away through the leg side, but he was well beaten.
It was good delivery, good, very good carry through to the keeper there.
Yes, you sense that McCabe's the kind of bowler who's going to bowl a heavy delivery and get a bit of bounce, and he does there, but he manages to tuck it away off his hip, Johnson, and runs through a single to the man just at the edge of the fielding circle, and fine leg. Another one to the total, 48 for 1 now. Moves Hewitt back onto strike, who, as you say, has been a bit becalmed, 14 of 21 balls. What can he do against McCabe to lift the scoring? There are some adjustments being made to the field. There's a man in the kind of gully area, pushed all the way back to the edge of the fielding circle. 3 men on the offside in the fielding circle, 2 on the boundary on the offside. There's a long on, and the rest are defending the leg side boundary and short boundary in front of the grandstand, and one of those men comes in now from the boundary at square leg, and he throws it back, but not before the batsmen run another single. 49 for 1. Johnson on strike, 17 not out. And another adjustment being made to the field. The man on the leg side boundary is being made a bit wider, well, there's a shy at the stumps there. He got it to the man who's at a fairly short mid-on, but they still ran one, and he did shy at the stumps quite legitimately, missed by quite a long way. So that brings up the 50 in the 8th over. It's going to be at the end of my commentary stint. It's going to be Avinash coming on after a few more words from Nick.
Yeah, so the 50 is up for the Royal Navy of 48 balls, a run rate of 6.2, very similar actually to what the RAF in the game against the Army earlier on. And so what we're seeing is a good solid start from the Navy, 50 for 1. They'll be very happy with that. But equally well, the RAF have responded well and keeping it reasonably tight. My feeling is a 150, 160 is going to be a very competitive total on here. As we have Hollingsworth now coming in from the pavilion end. He's up and he bowls, and this is a slashed, mistimed shot from Johnston, which Hollingworth does the fielding off his own bowling. And so a dot delivery. So Johnston, who's 18 off 15 deliveries, Hewitt 15 off 22, and these two going along reasonably well as Hollingsworth comes charging in, and this is another slightly mistimed shot from Johnston, and athletic bit of goalkeeping from Hollingsworth as he again fields up above his head off his own bowling. Hollingsworth is well, he certainly tears in at a pace. He's an athletic individual, quite lean, quite lithe, but it's what, a 15 or so pace as he bowls, and this one's turned and it's going to be 4. He's just strayed short of a length. Johnston's onto it in a flash and just really helps it on its way to the leg side boundary. So the score moves on to 54 for 1, Johnston on for 22. Nice looking shot, that, Avinash.
Yes, and you can't really afford to stray down the leg side to a left-hander batting at this end, given that short boundary there on the grandstand. But the previous two deliveries were very good, and Hollingsworth struggled to time either of those. So as he comes in again, and he bowls, and this is a full delivery, and it's going to be turned into the leg side, fielded there at deep mid-wicket by Hawke, who's on the boundary just in front of the grandstand. The grandstand away to our right. We've got a number of the corporate boxes full, a number of, I expect, military personnel who've been enjoying their day out, and then beneath them in the first tier of the grandstand, I guess probably 300 or so supporters, something like that, who hopefully have been enjoying their day's cricket. As yes, a good crowd. it's Hewitt on strike. He's going to face Hollingswood, who comes in, and that's it's going to be a wide. Rather a nice, almost Strictly Come Dancing bit of play by Hewitt. He just stepped inside the line and allowed it to pass not that far away from the leg stump, probably a couple of inches, but very well judged. So one more to the total, 56 for 1.
This match feels a lot calmer than the previous one.
It does, as Hollingswood comes in. This one's pulled into the leg side, doesn't quite get hold of it actually, Hewitt. His timing's just slightly off, so they think about a second but wisely decide against it as the throw comes in from McCabe, who's out there on the boundary. So one more for Hewitt. He moves on to 16, 57 for 1. And Johnston, the left-handed Johnston, with his helmet, he's now crouched over his bat, raised, and that's a full delivery that in the block hole, well bowled Hollingsworth, made Johnston just dig it out. And overall, I think a very good over from Hollingsworth. There was the one boundary from it, but otherwise, I think just 6 in total. So,
yeah.
So a number of dot balls. So 57 for 1.
I think the Navy will be very happy with this start, although if they're looking for a par score at around 150, then they're going to need to increase the rate a little bit now. Plenty of wickets in hand, of course, 57 for 1 only. Currently at 6.3.
Yeah, so it's McCabe who will be continuing from the nursery end, just down in front of us. McCabe with 14 on his back. He's up the stumps, he bowls it short, and it's pulled into the leg side. It's just evaded the fielder there. I think it's Diver who was at mid-wicket, just inside the circle. And it just went over his fingertips, probably by about 6 inches, but a little bit lower. And Hewitt may well have been on his way back to the pavilion. But as it is, he adds a welcome boundary, and the score moves on to 61 for 1. Hewitt's timing's not quite there, but he did get away with it on that one. As McCabe bowls his full delivery, and it's in aerial, but Hewitt's got it past the fielder at mid-off, and they will come back for a nice, easy couple of runs. So he moves on to 22, the score 63 for 1. Again, neither of these two last shots, they brought him 6 runs, but not totally convincing.
No, and both risky shots really, both in the air, and both only just evading the fielders.
So McCabe, what can he do now as he bowls? And this is carted into the leg side, and it's, again he gets away with it. It's gone for, I think it might well have got, it's gone for a 4. So he pulled it into the leg side. There was a despairing dive from the fielder at deep square leg. He wasn't that far away from it. I'd be wrong to say it was a chance, but it wasn't fair. But as it is, Hewitt will be very happy. He moves to 26. This is a productive over for him so far. And McCabe, and this one is where he's played that beautifully. He's just the ramp down fine leg, vacant fine leg area. He just stepped into the offside, and as McCabe came in, just ramped it over.
Yes, he showed great awareness of the field there. Knew exactly where the gap was, just took a step out onto the offside, and then, as you say, played the ramp.
So McCabe, he's getting some punishment this over. He's gone for 14 off the first 4 deliveries. What can he do? And this is a full toss. Well, it's going to be called a no ball. It was beamer height. It obviously slipped out of his hand. Well, I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt that he slipped out of his hand. He, of course, might be somewhat exasperated with, but what that means is that is a free hit, I believe, isn't it?
I don't know whether he's... Yes,
it is exactly free hit. There's I think there's an announcement to to say free hit, was it?
I think it was, yes.
Yeah, one. Yeah, so it's one. A no ball has gone on to the total, and here is the free hit. So what can? Yeah, he's got hold of it. He's got hold of it. He's put that into the grandstand, as Hewitt. There was nothing that wrong with the delivery. It was outside the off sun, and but Hewitt just rocked back and just heaved-hoed it.
He just laid into that, didn't he?
He really did. And well, this is a destructive over from the Navy to the RAF. 21 off the over from.
I think that shot may have affected the shape of the ball. They're querying it with the umpire, but the umpire's not interested in giving it back to them.
So this is the final ball of McCabe's over. It's not an over he's going to look back with any great fondness. He bowls, and this is, well, he's got away with it. I suspect there might just have been a touch. It did go down the leg side. Possibly Hewitt just got a little bit of glove or something on it. So the end of a very productive Navy over. They move on to 78 for 1. Hewitt has absolutely leapt forward. He's now on 36. And suddenly, really quite a different shape
I
to.
think that was a very significant over, because the run rate now has gone up to 7.8, and that's exactly what they needed to do if they are looking to get somewhere around the 150 mark. They were just sort of settling down too much and falling a bit behind, really, if that's their target.
As it's Hollingworth, he's continuing from pavilion and he bowls, and this is guided by Johnston out on the offside, and actually they decide not to take a run. Hewitt comes charging down, and the throw comes in from, I'm not quite sure who it is there, number 1 on his back, comes in, and well, it misses.
Fisher, I think it was
Fisher, is it? Yeah, and well, Hewitt made his ground, but a little bit of miscommunication between Johnston and
had
Hewitt
that throw been a direct hit, as some of them have been today, I think he would have been in trouble.
He would have been in trouble. There's this one from Hollingsworth. It's short outside the off stump, and just almost flat batted back by Johnston up to deep mid off, and they come through for a very comfortable single. Quite unorthodox but effective shot from Johnston. He's practicing it there because I think he feels if he'd probably guided it better, he could have got it into a vacant area on the offside, possibly towards the boundary. But no matter, score 79 for 1. It brings on Hewitt onto strike. And, this is a full toss, and that is carted away. I think he's going to get, no, he's not going to get 4 for it, actually. He'll get a couple, because is it McCabe who's doing the feeling? It is McCabe. He was actually quickly round, and he was able to cut it off just before the leg side boundary rope. Not a great delivery from Hollingsworth.
No, it wasn't. It was a full toss, almost another beamer, really.
Yeah, I suspect he was trying to do a slower ball, and anyway,
Hewitt will be disappointed that he didn't put that away for 4.
he will. And this one, he's that was a chance. I think it was a chance. It was hit firmly back to Hollingsworth, and he just couldn't hold on to it. And I think Nick will confirm whether that was a chance. So Hewitt has a life. I think Hollingsworth will be a bit disappointed at that. I mean, it was hit hard, but it was straight at him, and very catchable height. He bowls, and this one is just pushed into the offside, and they go through for what is a comfortable single. It's Shorthouse who does the fielding, but Johnston was comfortably in his ground. So the score 82 for 1. We're in the 11th over, and Navy will be more than happy with how they're setting this innings up. As Hollingsworth comes in, and that's hit hard by Johnston straight up to mid-off, and probably hit a bit too hard because there's raced up there Therefore, just the 1 run. So that's the end of the 11th over. 83 for 1, the Navy. And we have a Hewitt on 39, Johnston on 25. It'll be interesting to see. We'll have a change of bowling here at I think is it Shorthouse? No, it's not. It's who is coming on? But yeah, we will have a change of bowling at the. Yeah, it's Gill is coming on from the nursery end. He'll be bowling to Johnston, and with that change of bowling, a little change in terms of fielding as well. So we've got. Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over commentary now to Avinash, and Nick von Schlipper will come into summary.
There's a big appeal with that first ball from Gill. Right arm round the wicket. Umpire not interested. 83 for 1, Royal Navy. As he comes round again. Nicely flighted ball, which is played out towards mid-off, and they grab a single. 39 not out is Hewitt. He's on strike. The field is split 5 and 4, 5 on the offside, 4 on the leg side, and 2 of those are on the square leg and mid-wicket boundary, the short boundary there. In comes Gill. A flatter delivery which is pushed out onto the offside and fielded at extra cover. There's no run. The RAF need more of those really to slow down this scoring by the Navy. That's another flattish delivery which is hit hard to deep mid-on, and they come and take a quick single.
Yes, he's slanting across the batsman, quite rightly so, because he wants to get it well wide of his off stump.
Yes, it'll be interesting now though, because the lefty is on strike, and he comes round the wicket, and that's it straight back at the bowler, hit very hard, no chance of stopping that. That's 4 runs to long off.
Yes,
So
that's a really excellent shot.
Yeah.
There's a long off and a long on right on the boundary, and neither of them had any chance at all from that drive from Johnson. He really thundered it down the ground for 4.
So Johnston moves on to 30 not out. He's faced 25 balls so far, and Hewitt at the other end is 40 off 35. So both batters well set. As Gill comes in to finish his over, and again a flattish delivery, slightly short, shy at the stumps from the fielder at extra cover. Unnecessary really, because huge overthrow, and they've had to they've managed to get another single.
Yes, he threw it back hard at the bowler, but the field is so scattered on that side of the ground that nobody could possibly back it up.
No, exactly, with only 3 fielders on this side.
Overthrow.
Yeah, 91 for 1 the score. We've just had the end of the 12th over. It's been Hollingsworth so far from the pavilion end. I think there'll probably be a change. We wait to see. But Navy at the moment going very well. They're scoring at 7.6 and over, and only 1 wicket down for 91 runs. So
yes, and
they're well
the partnership
set really.
of 63 as well.
Yes, yes. Hawke it is who's going to be coming in from the pavilion. He's just setting his field now, and the right-handed Hewitt is going to be on strike. So the short boundary there on the offside is being well protected. You've got 5 fielders there. Backward point, cover point, extra cover on the boundary, and a short extra cover as well, and a long off. Bit of a discussion there between the 2 offside fielders at extra cover and on the boundary there. In he comes. That ball is played out onto the onside. I don't think that's where he meant it to go. Slightly mistimed shot. Only 3 fielders on the onside, so it takes the fielder from deep mid on quite a bit of time to get to the ball, and they take 2 runs. Hewitt moves on to 42 now.
Yes, I agree with you. I think he rather squirted it out on the leg side, but it landed perfectly to get 2.
And that's a nicely driven shot. Just a single to mid-off. And the bowler actually tried to make an attempt at stopping that. He couldn't really. It was too well hit for that.
Yes, in a way, that was a much better shot. But
a
it
proper shot, wasn't it?
produced
Yeah.
half the result, simply because of the placement.
So Robbins was the last man out at 14. And now it's 94 for 1. This ball is played down 2 long off. And they take a single. I think the taking of singles has been a significant part of this innings.
It has, and the running between wickets as well.
Very good.
Turning
Excellent.
ones
Yeah.
into 2s.
Yes. In comes Hawke for the 4th ball of his over, and this is down the leg side. It's going to be 4 byes, I think, unless the umpire thinks it touched. Is it 4 leg byes or 4 byes? Yeah, 4 byes.
4 byes, yes.
4 byes. No contact at all from the batter, but it wasn't wide enough to be given a wide. Everybody missed it, including the wicketkeeper. So 99 for 1 now, nearly at the 100 mark, and it's going to be Hewitt who's on strike to see if he can bring the 100 up, and he can't. He just plays it into the offside defensively, and the bowler fields off his own bowling.
Yeah, dot ball there. But something you don't see all that often. 4 byes down the leg side and limited overs cricket.
No, true. Last ball of the over is pushed out onto the offside, and a nice throw, which is straight to the wicketkeeper. He smashes the stumps, but the batter is well in, and that's the 100 up for the Royal Navy of 78 balls at a run rate of 7.7.
Yes, well played, these two, and also Robbins, who was out earlier and got the innings off to a flying start, and that was an example of what we were talking about. Superb running between the wickets, because it was played to the nearest fielder on the offside. Yes. There was a man there in the cover region, not out on the edge of the circle, not out on the edge of the boundary, but really somebody who could have picked up and thrown down the stumps, but they ran so fast that they got there very comfortably.
So the batters have had a bit of a conference during that time between the overs, and let's see what they have decided. Hewitt they're 100 for 1, plenty of wickets in hand, 7 overs still to go, and it's Gill for his 2nd over, and that's obviously what the conversation was about. 6 runs into the grandstand, not a chance. It was a bit of a long hop, really, but nonetheless a very well executed shot, and that takes Hewitt to 54 not out. That's his half century, and lots of warm applause from the stands, especially from the grandstand and the pavilion, where some of his teammates are applauding him.
It's 5 4s and 2 6s, just 41 balls it took him to bring up 50. It's been a really splendid effort. That last 6, easy as you like. The right arm off spin with the short boundary, just asking to be put away there.
He cannot drift onto that side. That's a much better ball. It's on the offside, pushed out onto the offside, and the fielder from deep mid-off comes in and fields. They take a single.
Yes, that's what he needs to do, just keep slanting the ball across him. I mean, that really wasn't an off-spin delivery at all. It was a flat delivery.
I just wonder if to the right-hander anyway, he wants to come the other side of the stump. But anyway, back to the left-hander facing, and he pushes it into the leg side. The fielder from the boundary has to come in, and it takes him a long time. I think he's pulled a muscle or something. McCabe
looks in some pain.
He looks in some pain. He sort of stopped on himself there, and he's now gingerly running back to his position on the boundary. and they take 2 runs. 109 for 1. Johnson on 35 not out has a quick look on the leg side. He fancies that again, and he does. He doesn't quite time it. It's on the ground, not a big hit, but they take a single to the square leg boundary.
Yes, a nice looking swivel pull there from Johnson, but
Yes,
as
and,
many of the orthodox shots as is the case, they only get 1 for it. So the fielders are placed just for those.
So we now have Hewitt on strike. He's the right-handed batter, 55 not out. Flighted delivery, which he pushes out onto the offside just for the single. Much better delivery, more controlled, and they take a single.
Yes, I think he really surprised him there. He was looking to work it away off his legs.
So
it ended up going down
and
to long off.
this left-right combination of batters is obviously unsettling for the fielders. That's a shorter ball which he lays out on the offside slightly too firmly, because although there was no fielder anywhere near him, the ball went fairly quickly to the fielder, sort of 2/3 of the way to the boundary, so they could only take a single. Otherwise there was a 2 there, I think.
Yes, and I got the impression that one kept a little bit low, because he landed it very short of a length, and it looked like it was going to sit up for the pull, but
Yes.
that just wasn't the case at all. All he could do was drive it to long off and get a single. But at any rate, these two still looking very comfortable. 112 for 1 after 14 overs. The run rate now over 8, and with 6 overs to go, anything's possible.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
terms of the total.
Navy will be very, very happy with this. They're at 8 and over, going at 8 and over, and Pearce is going to be continuing from the pavilion end. His first over was very expensive. He went for 12 off that, so let's see what he can do now. And he's going to be bowling to Johnston, the left-handed Johnston, who lets this one go by, and in fact the umpire gives it as a wide. It was so far outside off stump. Sometimes difficult to settle into a length from that end, and a line as well, because of the slope.
Yes, and Pearce's previous over was from the nursery end. It was pretty expensive. 13 runs came from it.
Pearce comes in again. Hit on the pads, big appeal, and he's given. He's given. Leg before wicket. Let's have a look at this one. It's, yeah, I think that looked pretty plumb, actually.
Absolutely.
Middle.
A well
A good
bowled
ball.
Pearce.
Yes.
Very good delivery there, full and straight, pretty much Yorker length. It's a bit hard for us to tell because we're behind the batsman here, and on the replay screen it's also behind the batsman. But it looks for all
It
the
did
world
look like a full delivery, and that's
very
what
full
that's
delivery.
what got him, I think.
Very straight. He attempted to work it away off his legs and was hit on the pads. So at the end of Johnson's innings, a really excellent innings, 37 he made, 113 for 2. That partnership worth 75, if my maths is correct.
Yes, and a very, very good, significant partnership for this match for the Royal Navy by those two. The new batter coming in is Marks, and before he takes his guard from the umpire, I'm going to leave you in the hands of Nick von Schlitter to take you through to the rest of the match.
Well, thanks very much indeed. So one thing I think that the Royal Navy will be thinking about is that they really they've defeated the Army, and if they can post a really big score, even if they lose a close match, they will still lift the trophy. Not that they'll be playing for that at all, but if they can put a really big total together, they'll be in an excellent position to lift the trophy, which is something that will no doubt make them all extremely happy. So Marks, the new batsman, is going to be facing Pearce. Pearce bowling left arm over the wicket to the new right-handed batsman, and he's in now from the pavilion end, and that one is driven out on the offside. It only goes to the man at cover. He shies at the stumps because Hewitt, as is his wont, was well down looking for a quick single. It wasn't there. There was a shy at the stumps, but it missed by quite a long way. Pearce holds his head in his hands, but it all ends up being a dot ball in the scorebook. Anyway, here's Marks' second ball. Pearce is in, and he manages to work that one away down to fine leg. There's a man on the edge of the fielding circle there. He gets down very well. He feels it's Fisher there. They run through for one, so it's Marks off the mark. 114 for 2. Hewitt, the man in form, 56 not out, is now on strike. And he's facing Pearce in his successful over, working that one off his legs. Doesn't beat the man at mid-on. They think about a single, it isn't there. And that's another dot ball in the scorebook. So this has been a much better over from Pearce. His first over extremely expensive, but he's just conceded the one run and taken a wicket. This one, however, he'll concede more runs. It was slightly shorter. It was driven away on the offside, but the man on the boundary fields. So it's one more to Hewitt. He moves on to 57. 115 for 2 the total, and Marks now, the new man, just one to his name off a couple of balls. He's going to face what should be the last ball of the over. Pearce comes in, and that one is wide of the off stump. He's driven it. Has he got it away? No. Again, that fielder is down very well and keeps it down to a single. So Marks finishes 2 not out. At the end of the 15th over, 116 for 2. The Royal Navy having won the toss and chosen to bat. And with wickets in hand, they'll want to accelerate, but that was a really good over from Pearce. A comeback over, having conceded 13 off his first over much earlier in the innings. He's now just conceded 3 off this one and taken a crucial wicket. Johnson, who was looking really good, 13-7 not out. He got him out LBW. Now there's going to be another bowling change. We believe that McCabe is going to come back. None for 27 of his 2 so far. He's going to be bowling from the nursery end, where he's bowled all his overs so far. Making some adjustments to the field as he bowls to Marks, the new man. It's hard to tell with these adjustments because the field is so scattered. They're very slight, but anyway, he's in now. Right arm over the wicket, and that one is full and straight, and he's driven it. They run through for another quick single, easily home, even though the fielder attempted to throw down the stumps, but the running from between the wickets has been really excellent from these two. And I've been joined by Adam Matthews. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks, Nick. This is going to be a really interesting end to this innings here. 117 for 2.
Yes, it's the happy hour at the end of the first innings. Just 5 overs to go, and this one is flat battered by Hewitt. They'll get one. They think about a second. It really isn't there even for them. Perhaps slightly disappointed there. Hewitt is really looking to latch onto everything now. 58 not out. He's wanting to smash everything into the grandstand.
Yeah, Sam Hewitt's really well set here. 58 from 46 deliveries. He's going to be the key to this end for the Navy.
McCabe, tall, strong in, and that's a good delivery. Yorker length, and he just drives it back on the offside, and there's no run there. Well, they need a few more of those from McCabe.
Yeah, interesting to know what a good score here is as well, as we haven't had a complete 20 overs yet today.
Yes, that's a very good point, and McCabe's in again, and that one is it's floated up, it's over pitched. He's managed to get it away. They'll only get one for it because the fielder, Stefan, I believe, that's out there, looking very lonely in front of the Mound and Tavern stands on the boundary. He keeps them down to 1. It's always hard to tell in a 2020 game what a good total is or isn't. Anything could happen.
Yeah, very much so. We've got 24, 26 deliveries left of this innings.
And he's in again, McCabe, bowling one of those, and that one is short, and he attempts to pull it away. He doesn't beat the fielder, and there is a shy at the stumps, and nobody is backing up there. So as a result, 1 becomes 2. And that's been a problem. We've seen that a few times. one side of the ground is so well defended, and on the other, the field is so spread out that when they do shy at the stumps, there's nobody there to back it up.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? The Tavern and Mound stand side there is so, like you say, sparsely populated with fielders.
And McCabe is in again, bowls to Hewitt, 60 not out. That's a good delivery, floated up. They've run one very, very quick single. I think he just got a bit of a bottom edge. We'll take a look on the replay there. Yes, he got a bottom edge, and the ball just sort of bounced up near the batsman, and they ran so fast that really they gave McCabe no chance, even though he was onto it very quickly. And he gets some consolation from Short Cross, his captain there. Made a good effort. Anyway, it's the end of the over. Not a bad one there. Just 6 runs came from it, from McCabe. So none for 33 off his 3 overs. End of the 16th over, 122 for 2. The Royal Navy having won the toss and elected to bat.
Yeah, it's going to be Kieran Pearce from the pavilion end again. 4 overs left of this innings.
Yes, can he follow up on his last successful over? Well, that's a good start. That ball is full and straight, and all Hewitt can do is pat it back to him. Not often we've seen that.
Hewitt on strike, 61 from 49 deliveries, looking really well set, but he's going to really want to get his side a strong finish here.
And now he's scooping it out, reverse scooping it. He goes out onto the offside and attempts to scoop it or somewhere away on the leg side. He gets 1 for it, but really that could have gone anywhere. I wonder if Hewitt isn't thinking he's only 38 runs away from a Lord's 100.
He played that shot really well a couple of overs ago off McCabe, but he didn't quite get that where he wanted it.
Didn't come off there. Anyway, it's Marks facing now, and he's attempting to hammer that away off the leg side. Gets, I think, a bottom edge, or leg byes are signalled, in fact. They go through for 1. But yes, it's all happy hour chaos now.
Well, that's okay for Marks. I think he's just looking for the single, really, just to get Hewitt on strike here, get the man set, facing as many deliveries in these last few overs as he can.
Yes, and the fielder inside the circle on the leg side is being moved there. He's the key man, but this one is driven straight. It's a more orthodox shot. They've run 1. They're going to come back for the second very comfortably. That was driven by Hewitt up to long on.
That was a good 2 there. He didn't get hold of the shot. It went skywards and didn't really go anywhere, but they scampered 2.
Yeah, the running between the wickets has been outstanding all the way through this. And this one is driven away on the offside. Slight misfield, but not so much that that's going to make any difference. They run through for 1. All those lovely orthodox cover drives just going through for 1. It's the unorthodox shots and the scoops and things going for boundaries.
Well, the short boundary on the grandstand side is 1 to the fielder on the boundary there.
So here comes Pearson again, and this one is smashed up in the air. Is that going to be caught? It is. Caught at long on. Stefan, the fielder there. It was Marks doing the right thing, going over the top, going for the big runs, but didn't quite get hold of it enough. And Marks, in front of the members, rather theatrically takes the catch and then holds his hand out and warmly receives the applause for this success.
Yeah, right idea from Finley Marks there, I think. Last ball of that over. Obviously didn't want to take a 1 and get the strike away from Hewitt for the next over. He's gone for the big shot, didn't quite get hold of it, and it's a good catch in front of the pavilion there. I think he probably didn't think he had as much space on the boundary as he actually did in the end.
Yes, he looked back, didn't he, just after he took the catch where the rope was, but it was
a lot closer to the rope.
It was a few feet behind him.
No, it's a good catch. And 3 overs to go. The Navy 127 for 3 now. Sam Hewitt 65 not out from 52 deliveries. So he's on strike, which is key for the Navy here. There's going to be a bowling change, so John Hawke is going to bowl from the nursery end. He's already bowled 3 overs and gone for 22 runs without taking a wicket.
Yeah, so Pearce successful again, 2 for 20 off his 3 overs now. It was none for 13 after his first one, so he's come back extremely strongly. Mark's out for just 4, but you can't really hold that against him. He came in after a big partnership and had to get the scoring going as quickly as possible. Went for a big shot and got caught out there. But it's going to be Hewitt, the main man on strike, 65 not out. As Hawke comes in, and that one is wide of the off stump. He's driven that away. They go through for 1. They think about the second, but it isn't on. Probably a little bit too cleanly hit on that occasion.
Like you say, Nick, always difficult to say what a good score will be in any T20 game, really. 17 balls remaining, 128 for 3. They're going to want 150 at least, I think, from here.
Yes, I'm sure they will. It's going to be Streether facing this next delivery from Hawke. He's in now, and again that one full and straight. He's driven it away on the offside. The man at long off, Fisher, comes from the boundary extremely quickly, keeps them down to a single. This is a decent enough start. 2 singles off the first 2 balls. So where are we? We're in the 18th over, so 16 balls to go. They'll want to accelerate that, and he's attempting to scoop it again. I think he missed it altogether.
He did that time.
Just went straight through to the keeper.
He did that time. He, as I say, a couple of overs ago, he played that very, very smartly for 4, down towards the Warner stand, or up towards the Warner stand, I should say. But that time he didn't get anything on it at all.
Yes, anything could happen when people attempt that shot. Anyway, here he is again. What's he going to do? It's wide outside the off stump. Well, I think that must have thrown Hawke off his balance, that previous shot, because he bowled it well wide outside the off stump. And he attempted to get hold of it, but couldn't get his bat anywhere near it.
Bonus runs there for the Navy. RAF won't want to bowl too many extras here.
He's in again, Hawke, and that one, he's managed to hammer that one away on the onside, and again they run through for 1. So apart from that wide, this has been pretty good stuff from Hawke coming back. A couple of balls to go.
It takes some skill to come back into the attack at this stage of the innings and bowl a tight over.
It does indeed, and Streether, just 1 not out, is hitting that one up in the air. It's going to bisect the field, and again Fisher comes in from long off and keeps it down to 1. It's one of those shots that could have absolutely gone anywhere. He's now practicing teeing it off like a golf shot, but fortunately it landed way in between the fielders, nicely and safely.
1 ball left this over. Sam Hewitt on strike. Will he go for the big shot here?
I have a feeling he will. Well, he certainly will. And with one of those, it was a full toss, and he smashed it away on the grandstand. I believe that... Oh, no, it was for 4. I thought it was a 6. It's a bit hard to tell from up here. Lovely shot for 4.
Yeah, it's a shame that for Hawke. He'd bowled a fairly tight over then until that point. That was a full toss, and Hewitt was looking for the big shot, the last ball of that over. And he punished it really. 1 bounce 4 into the grandstand. 136 for 3, 2 overs left of the Royal Navy innings. There's a change of bowling at the pavilion end with Shorthouse back into the attack, 3 overs for 16 without taking a wicket.
Yes, and Hawke finishes on none for 31 off his 4 overs, which is about par for the innings. Anyway, Shorthouse, the captain, bowling a very flat delivery, and he manages to work it away off his leg, Streether. So that takes him on to 3. He's scoring at a runner ball. But more importantly, he's getting Hewitt onto strike, 71 not out. Batting with a wide open stance now. And again, that's a full flat delivery. Very, very good ball. All he can do is pat it back to him. That's a real success. Any dot ball like that at this stage.
Really well bowled from Shorthouse. I think he saw Hewitt coming and sort of darted it in at that leg stump, and he just couldn't get it away for anything.
Shorthouse in again, the captain. This one is floated up, and he's smashed that one away into the short boundary. Well, looked to me like he reverse sort of reverse pulled that one behind square.
Really smart shot from Hewitt
Yes.
there. Really innovative. Reverse switch hit, really. One bounce into the grandstand. 4 runs. Useful runs at this stage of the innings.
Yes, very, very clever batting, as you say. So what can Shorthouse do? He's looping one up. It's gone up in the air. Is he going to be caught? He is! Well, they will breathe more easily after that. Hollingsworth, the fielder there, it went straight to him on the boundary in front of the grandstand. And that one, he looped it up, inviting the big shot. And it went straight up in the air, and that is the end of Hewitt. 75 of 59 balls, 7 fours, 2 sixes, 141 for 4. He's really done his job for the Royal Navy and put them in a very strong position here.
He's quite rightly getting a standing ovation from his teammates in the dugout in front of the Allen stand. That was a really special knock, and he went for the big shot and caught on the boundary in front of the grandstand, going for that lofted drive, but he's done his job here.
Yeah, so White is going to be the new batsman. Now facing, he's got to the crease very quickly, and he's got off the mark very quickly as well, driving away to long on, and they're very smartly coming back for a second.
Excellent run in there. They clothed the ball, he didn't get hold of it at all, but they managed to get 2. The ball only went as far as a regular mid-on, and managed to get back for 2 runs.
Yeah, Stefan, the fielder there, who took the catch earlier, he's going to be called into action again, is he? Well, no, this one is cut off by the man at mid-wicket, so that's another single. Fisher, the man there, managing to cut it off, but that's a very lively start for White, and it's also the end of Shorthouse's over, and he finishes with excellent figures, 1 for 24 off his 4 overs. And he really does deserve that wicket, because I think he's bowled extremely well under tremendous pressure and really led the team with his example bowling there, Adam.
He has bowled very well there, like you say, leading by example, the skipper, just sort of, that could have been a big over there, especially if Hewitt had got going, but a key wicket there. We're going to see Sean McCabe back into the attack for the final over of the innings from the nursery end. He's going to be bowling to Benedict White, who's 3 not out from just a couple of deliveries so far. 144 for 4.
So McCabe, the right arm seamer, none for 33 of his 3 so far. This one is slightly short. Was asking to be hit, but he missed it. White, who's just come to the crease, and that's a much needed dot ball.
Yeah, precious dot balls at this stage of the innings for the RAF. They'd be quite happy with 2 or 3 more of those this over, at least.
Absolutely. Well, if they can keep them down to 100, under 150, that will be a moral victory for them. But that one is short and it's wide outside the off stump. Well, that's not what they need. He attempted to bang it in short, but it just drifted down the leg side.
Looked like he tried a slower ball bouncer there almost, which didn't quite have the control on, unfortunately. And yeah, it's bonus runs for the Navy.
So White facing, just 3 not out. He's just come to the crease of the last over, and this one, well, almost wide outside the off stump. He attempted to overcompensate, but he's been banging them in short again, and he attempted to go for the big pull shot, missed again, just went through for the keeper for a dot ball.
Yeah, well bowled again. It looks like Sean McCabe is well versed at bowling at this stage of the innings.
Yes, and this is clever bowling to the new batsman. This one is floated up. It's a slow full toss. He's got it away for 1. They're going to come back for a second. Slow full toss just outside of the off stump. He manages to drive it away. Acres of space there in front of the Mountain Tavern stand. And so much so they were able to run a pretty comfortable 2 as the fielder from the boundary threw in.
3 balls left. They'll be looking to scamper as many as they can off these last 3 deliveries, unless they can make a connection for a big shot.
Well, that one is a is a big wide. It's about, we'll see what the umpire says on that. I suspect it's going to be a free hit. It was certainly over shoulder height, a full toss. Is this going to be a free hit?
He signalled for the no ball. Square leg umpire was coming over to confirm.
And I believe they ran through for one as well. Yes, free hit signalled now. Well, that's the last thing you need in the final over. And they have crossed. They did run through for one. And it's going to be Strather facing, 3 not out. This is a free hit now. And he's gone for a big shot and he's got it away. Well, he's got it away behind square for 6.
Fantastic shot. That's a danger when bowling from the nursery end with that short boundary to the right-hander. A free hit is not what you want, and he played it very, very well to Strather. He swiveled on it and hit it behind square, really, but really punished that free hit. And with the no ball, the single they took on that as well has cost 8 runs.
Yes, because that was a full delivery, and he managed to sort of help it round for 6, and that one is another of these slower ball bouncers. Well, this one probably not a slower ball, this one was a slightly sharper bouncer, and he attempts to pull, misses. Score remains 155 for 4 with just 1 ball to go of this, the final over of the Royal Navy innings. They won the toss, they chose to bat. They'll probably be feeling happy with the total, though they feel that it could have been higher. Anyway, here's Strather, 9 not out, facing, and that one is wide outside the off stump. He attempts to drive, and they run through for 1. Well, they ran one to the keeper, who threw at the stumps, missed, so they did manage to get away with it. And there was enough backup to avoid any mishaps and overthrows off the final ball. So that's 1 run off the final ball of the innings. I think it was a bye, because Strather is still 9 not out. So 156 for 4, the Royal Navy innings. I really have no idea that's a par total, a good total.
Very difficult to tell.
Yes.
Would they have wanted more with that second wicket partnership being so high? Possibly. But I think there was some decent bowling in that second half of that innings, and I think they'll think that this is a competitive total.
Yes, they reached 100 with 7 overs to go. So yes, I mean a real acceleration would have got them to 180, possibly. They could have even dreamt of 200, but that's on a really good day. On the other hand, in a 2020, it's just as likely for there to be a big batting collapse. So this is about right.
Well, the Royal Navy posting 156 for 4 in their innings in the final match of this year's Inter-Service T20 Championships, live from the home of cricket, Lords in London, helped by a magnificent 75 from Sam Hewitt. It's the Navy who you feel are in the box seat to win the title, helped by that win against the Army earlier in the week. So what will the RAF have to say when it comes to their turn to bat out in the middle very, very shortly? Well, just before the match, a minute's silence was held in memory of BFBS trustee and Royal Navy veteran Captain Graham Robinson. He was instrumental, pivotal in ensuring that the championships were played here at Lords. So a moment's tribute just before the national anthem ahead of this match. Well, we wait with bated breath to see the conclusion of this match and see who comes away with the trophy. So without further ado, we'll head back to our commentary team.
So I suspect that unless, from my understanding of things, unless the Navy can really knock off these runs fast, that means that the Air Force will have the trophy in their hands. Have I got that right? No, I've got that wrong, haven't I? The Navy will have the trophy in their hands. Unless the Air Force really, I don't know what the total would need to be, but they need to knock it off with about 10 overs to spare or something.
I think we've probably got a few minutes until the restart, so we'll take a quick break and we'll be back for the second innings of this match between the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy, and we will be calling the Royal Air Force's reply to the Navy's 156 for 4.
Thanks very much. Yes. Yes, I guess 27. West Indies versus MCC. Very comfortably indeed. It was a very sunny day, so we all wear dark glasses. Just the
You will go into the British Army, where you will help the rest of the British Army live, move and fight.
Well, this is an incredibly rare opportunity. I'm sitting in one of the final Mark I Apaches.
The unique thing for our ship is our big offshore crane. The Mine Threat Exploitation Group can bring their boats alongside.
Here on Yablonska Street alone, more than 60 civilians died at the hands of Russian troops.
This is not an easy exercise. You can see the submarine out there in the water. The helicopter has tried a few times, but it's going back round for another go.
So Henry, I've just been running up and down. Tell me what we are now looking at here.
Everyone wants to be a sniper, but obviously with the mystique of sniping, not many people will actually know and can know that you are what you are.
It's such an honour and a privilege to fly the display this year. I'm like standing on the backs of giants, really.
Hello and welcome back to our coverage from Lords of the Inter-Services 2020 tournament. It's the final innings of the final game, the Royal Air Force against the Royal Navy. Royal Air Force about to start their innings and they're chasing a target of 157. Earlier the Navy posted 156 for 4. It's going to be Shorthouse, the captain, is going to be facing the first delivery. Diver is the batsman at the non-striker's end, and we believe that the bowling is going to be opened by Johnston. He's doing some very vigorous warm-ups now at the nursery end, some calisthenics of some kind, and I'm joined by Seb Maxim. So Seb, what do you make of the Royal Air Force's chances of this innings?
Well, thanks very much, Nick, for having me up here. It is a pleasure to be up here in the media centre at the Home of Cricket commentating on this. Yes, I saw them bat earlier. They look good, so we'll see what they've got to offer.
And they've started off extremely well with a boundary off the first ball. Not a good one from Johnson. It was a long hop, and it was just comfortably tucked away on the short boundary at the grandstand in the mid-wicket region. So that's a really real gift, really, for Shorthouse of the first ball.
Yeah, that's the area they'll look to attack, won't they? The short boundary. You'll see there's a gap there on that side, so I won't be surprised if we see a few runs scored there.
I suspect so. But at the moment, there's a yawning gap there. There's a fielder in the in the sort of fine leg region at the edge of the circle. There's a fielder at mid-on. That one is well wide of off stump, and he's got it away down to third man. He's not going to get 4 for it. They are going to run 2. The fielder at third man was down there. There was a slip in place. I don't think that's going to last very long. But at any rate, Shorthouse, the captain, off to a very good start. 6 runs off the first 2 balls.
Yeah, well fielded that. Very well fielded. The slightly wider delivery there, and he does cut it and gets a bit of an edge on it. But it did take some stopping.
So Johnson, right arm round the wicket and over the wicket, and again that one is dropped too short, and Shorthouse, all you like, just pulls it away very comfortably for another boundary.
Yeah, back of a length that one again, and maybe a touch outside off stump, and it's relatively loose from Johnston so far, and Shorthouse is certainly looking. He's batted earlier today. He's looking pretty comfortable straight away, and given his side not a bad start here. 10 off 3 balls.
10 off 3 balls indeed, and this is a repeat, except this one's gone for 6.
Wow, yeah. He's in the mood, isn't he?
He is, yes.
The skipper today, Corporal, hails from Peterborough, and it's a lovely shot that, and it's that area that we were talking about just a couple of balls ago that we thought they would target. He sort of flicks that one off the pads and makes use of the short boundary, goes for a 6 into the grandstand.
Yeah, it's a disastrous start there, and Johnson was holding his head in his hands. He floated that one round about leg stump. It was just far too easy, and that's a much better delivery. It's full and straight, and he just drives it back. Johnson is down, attempting to field off his own bowling. Just perhaps he gets a bit of a hand on it, but at any rate there's no run, and he gets very encouraging applause from his teammates.
Yeah, full of delivery that one. He says to Shorthouse, I'm not going to let you score that easily.
So he's in now for what should be the final ball. It isn't going to be. It's very well wide of off stump. So that's a wide. Again, it was kind of banged in that time, but it ended up flying outside. The keeper took it in front of first slip. So this has not been a great start. 17 off this over so far, 16 of them off the bat of Shorthouse, and there's going to be more over there. Now that one wasn't a bad delivery. Shorthouse did flick it away down to third man for 1. Well, I'd say certainly a good shot for a 2020 match. It would have had commentators back in the day up in arms at its unorthodoxy, but he kind of flicked it away down to third man, takes him on to 17, and a very good start for the Royal Air Force. 18 off the first over.
Yeah, what a wonderful start that is. I mean, they couldn't have dreamed for a much better start than that. You know, already the required rate is looking at a nice 7.3, so they want to keep this momentum going, attack the new bowlers who let's not forget haven't bowled at all today. Yeah, keep the pressure on, and Shorthouse is on strike here, so if there's anyone that can do that, he's the man.
So it's going to be Rutter coming on from the pavilion end, just doing a few warm-up deliveries now. Looks like he's going to be bowling right arm, medium-ish pace. The keeper is back to this. There's no slip now, but he's going to be bowling to Shorthouse, who's had all the strikes so far, and that first ball is a good one. It's full, it's straight on off stump, and Shorthouse rather respectfully plays a straight bat to it. It's fielded by the man at cover, no run.
Nice smooth action there from Rutter. Looks about medium pace there, and as you say, it's a nice start for him.
He's got a high arm there. Yeah. Yes, as you say, it is a nice smooth action. It went through very pleasantly. Here he is again from the pavilion end, bowling straight, and he's managed to get that one away. That one sat up a little bit. It was a little bit shorter, and he managed to cut that one away down through third man, and gets another 4 runs for it.
Yeah, it was there to be hit. It was a half volley, that one, wasn't it? And it's you know, sort of cut away quite gracefully again by Shorthouse, who continues to impress here. Yeah, comfortable shot, that comfortable height, a bit loose again from Rutter, who I'm sure will grow into this spell. But yeah, Shorthouse, you know, he's making it could be quite a short evening.
Yes, indeed. 21 off 8 balls. The keeper is now standing up to Shorthouse, and this one he's playing it away, and everybody's got their head in their hands. That one nearly got through. It was a Yorker length. We'll take a look at it again on our replay now. But yes, it was full. That's right. No, he attempted to cut it away and got an inside edge.
Yeah.
Could have gone onto his stumps very easily, but it just went into the pads.
nice hum around the ground here. It's a well-attended fixture, this always at Lords.
It is, yes. It's a very popular fixture as Rutter's in again. That one is floated away on the offside, and well, Shorthouse is just playing these shots so nicely. He's making it look very easily. There are 5 men in the circle on the offside, and he just finds a gap between them for 4 more runs.
Yeah, he knows how to hold a bat. We can certainly say that. He's looking very comfortable here.
Yes, well, it's all been him so far. He's faced every delivery. He's on 25 in no time, and that one's hit him on the pad. I think it was probably going down leg side. There is a shout for LBW, I think more in hope than expectation, and there's no run. They think about a single. In fact, Shorthouse ran it to Rutter, and neither of them was going to give any ground there.
Yeah.
26 without loss. There's been some decent stuff from Rutter in this over, but sometimes he's given Shorthouse that little bit of room. That's a better delivery. It's full, and he's played it away off his pads. The fielder's onto it very nicely. There's a single. And was that the last ball of the over? It was. So Shorthouse again keeps on strike. Diver at the other end hasn't been doing all that much.
He's entertaining the crowd here, Shorthouse, and he says to the crowd as he takes the single here, the show will go on at the next over. No, I was impressed by Rutter there. He conceded 9, so not a poor start from him by any means, but a lovely action, as you say, a high arm, one to keep an eye on, and as the evening continues.
Definitely. Well, it is going to be Johnson continuing, despite conceding 18 off his first over. He's going to be bowling to Shorthouse, who's faced all the deliveries so far, and that one is wide off the off stump, and he's got it away on the offside, but the fielder does extremely well, the man at point, gets down very quickly to his right and keeps them down to a single, which means that Diver is going to get on strike finally.
Diver for the RAF here. Some might say that name is more suited to the Royal Navy.
Indeed, yes. But we wouldn't make cheesy puns like that.
No, we wouldn't.
Let's see what he's going to do. With his first delivery, it's going to be Johnson coming in from the nursery end. That one is short, and he attempts to fend it away and is beaten. Well, you rather think that Shorthouse might have made short work of that delivery. It was kind of asking to be hit, but he was caught in 2 minds. Anyway, it's the first ball he's faced, and it is getting a little bit dark now at Lords, which could be a factor in this innings. Anyway, a dot ball keeps the score on 28 without loss. He's in again now, Johnson, right arm over the wicket, and that one, it's a bit of a replica of the previous delivery, really.
Yeah, he does flash at that one, Diver. It's a quicker delivery, it seems. Did zip through nicely, that rather slingy action Johnston's got there. Flashed at it, Diver, couldn't make contact, and he still remains on 0.
Yes, well, just 1 run off the 3 balls so far. I don't want to jinx him, but it certainly is an improvement on the previous over, but that one is too short, and he does manage to get it away. They've run through for 1 pretty comfortably. They decide against a second. It went to the man on the boundary. That lonely fielding position in front of the Mound and Tavern stand, miles from anybody else.
Down the slope. Yeah, of course, that is a factor here as well. You know, it is a long boundary, but it is down the slope. It's a similar delivery to the previous couple, but this time Diver makes contact.
So Shorthouse facing, and this one is up in the air. He's going to be caught. He is caught. Well, he attempted to pull that one away, and it just went straight up into the air in the opposite direction. He was wanting to pull it away on the leg side to the grandstand. It went up into the air off a top edge on the offside, ended up being a very comfortable catch for the man at point, and they are delighted. He's being mobbed, the fielder there. It's White who had a little cameo at the end of their innings. And he's dismissed Shorthouse, who made 27 and really got the Royal Air Force innings off to a flying start. Okay, well, that was one of those cheesy puns I was talking about.
Not that we would make them, of course.
Of course, no. But they really needed that wicket.
Yeah. I mean, what a tremendous start he's given his team. It changes the dynamic of this massively. Yeah, it is still early doors, but he was looking very comfortable. It's actually a similar ball from Johnston than the previous two to Diver, and Shorthouse says, "I've hit you for numerous boundaries already. I'm going to try and do the same again." But in the end, he does get that top edge, and it is a very, very comfortable catch.
Yes, probably a fine margin compared with the previous shots. Anyway, it's going to be Fisher facing his first delivery, and that's a good delivery. It's well up to him. He plays it away on the offside. There's no run. So this over complete contrast. Just a couple of runs come off it, and one wicket, the key wicket of Shorthouse. So Johnson coming back so strongly after 18 being taken off his first over, now has figures of 1 for 20 off 2.
Yeah, and we did say that he was looking rather loose in that first over, and he's proved to us that he you know, why he's got a place in this side with an impressive comeback there.
Well, indeed. So you rather sense that things are going to calm down a little bit. You can't imagine that they're going to carry on at the same breathless pace that we had while Shorthouse was hitting the ball to all sides. But it's going to be Diver to face. He's faced just 3 deliveries so far. He's made 1. It's going to be Rutter continuing. 9 came off his first over. Right arm over the wicket, and that one is full and straight, a Yorkerish length, and he just plays it straight back to him. No run.
Yep, simple stuff. Faceful deliveries, Diver, and has played and missed a couple of them, so it'll be interesting to see how his innings develops here.
There's a sense that he wants to get on with it, but it's always the case when there's a batsman gets off to a really flying start and then gets out. You just kind of wonder where the momentum's going to come from. Anyway, that's going to be 1. He managed to get that one away on the leg side. The man ran round from mid-on and then plays a rather bizarre throw straight up in the air back to the bowler. It ends up being fielded by his opposite number at mid-off. So it's going to be Fisher on strike. He's just faced the 1 delivery now with a high backlift, keeper standing up to him, and he's got that one away, has he? No. He played it to one of the fielders, the cordon of fielders defending the short boundary on the grandstand.
Yeah, they have packed that area of the field, haven't they?
Yes, he attempted to drive, didn't quite get hold of it probably, so it ended up losing its pace as it went through to the fielder. 30 for 1 the total. Fisher yet to get off the mark, and that ball is a little bit slower there from Rutter, and it just ends up dribbling away on the offside. The keeper's onto it very smartly, and no run there.
Yeah, of course, this is the benefit of you know, a keeper that can stand up to a seam bowler. If he was a bit further away, there's no fielders near it, and they might have been able to snatch a single, but that slower delivery, it's padded by Fisher, and the keeper's able to prevent a single.
Yes, and this one he's got away off his legs. I'm not sure that's exactly where he intended to play it, but it's gone down to the man at deep fine leg who comes in off the boundary. They run 1, so that's Fisher off the mark, and it's going to be Diver to face the last ball of the over.
If you're interested in getting in touch, wherever you're listening from, if you're in the ground with the headsets, or if you're listening to the stream, email in ballbyball@mtc.org.uk.
And here he is again bowling the last ball. It's driven back past him, and the man does extremely well coming from mid-on, gets down sharply to field, so they keep it down to a single. So another good over, 32 for 1 now after 4 overs. So by my reckoning, that's the last 3 overs going for 14 runs, which isn't bad going at all for this stage of an innings.
After that thunderous start, they're still in a healthy position thanks to Shorthouse's start, but four overs. These two obviously just getting in very. They both faced few deliveries, but you know, you always have to in a T20 game. You can't take too long to get in. You always have to be aware of the run rate required. So 7.8 at the moment, which is looking okay. But Johnston into bowl now.
Yes, Johnson had a successful last over, but this ball is hit over the top of the fielders on the offside and goes down to third man for 4. That's an excellent shot there from Diver, who's wide outside the off stump. Johnson is furious that nobody was able to catch it. Well, no one was anywhere near it.
Well, it's tremendous. It is a tremendous shot. That it's a little bit of a wide. It gives him a bit of length. And he just opens up his bat face and guides it over the fielder in the circle there, and it goes for a comfortable 4.
So here he is again, Johnson, and that one is shorter, and he just plays it off the back foot. They run a pretty risky single to the man on the third man inside the circle. He does shy at the stumps, misses, and they run through for 1. Takes Diver onto 8 and moves Fisher onto strike.
Some brave running there. I'm not sure if I would have made that.
Yes, I have a feeling I would have been nowhere near. So here he is again, Johnson, and that one is too short, and it's been smashed away, easy as you like, in the grandstand for 6.
Well, it's almost the carbon copies of Shorthouse's 6 in the first over. It's a bit shorter from Johnston, and it's easy for Fisher just to pull that one over the short boundary there and into the grandstand.
Yes, unfortunately he just cannot get away with those. Bull short to the right-hander, you will get punished. He's in again, and this one is wider off the off stump, and he's been slashed away, attempting to overcompensate. It was still a little bit short, and he got onto the back foot. He slashed it away. There are 2 fielders there in the sort of third man gully region within the circle, but neither of them were anywhere near it. Went for 4 runs.
Yeah, it was another shorter delivery, and Fisher was more than met the match there. It was a lovely cut through the offside and down to the long boundary towards the tavern stand.
So here he is again, having conceded 10 off his last 2 balls, make that 14 off 3. That one was a different kind of shot. That was one was really made by the batsman, a muscular shot off his leg. Well, there's a ball outside off stump, but he ended up hitting it onto the onside.
I think he always knew what he was going to do there, how he was going to take that shot on. He says to Johnston, "I'm going to take you on there," and that's exactly what he does. Punches it through the leg side for 4 runs.
Yeah, lots of power there in the arms, wasn't there? And here he's again, having taken quite a pummeling now, Johnson, and it's not going to end there. That one is just flicked away on the leg side for another 4. So that's unfortunate. He was started well, and he was attempting to do the right thing. He bowled a fuller length, but he was just on the legs. And, well, we've seen now Fisher this over, he's really got his eye, and he was able to flick the ball away for 4 runs. So another very expensive over from Johnson, 1 for 43 off his 3 overs. Thanks very much to Seb as Adam Matthews comes to join me again. So the chase is on, Adam.
Chase is very much on here. A very strong first 5 overs for the RAF, 55 for 1, 157 is the target to beat the Navy. They need 102 from the last 90 balls.
As Rutter comes in and Diver is driving him nicely, I think that's going to go for 4 in front of the pavilion. Yes, well, that was something we haven't seen all that much of. It was just a completely orthodox cricket shot, the straight drive down the ground.
That was a beautiful cricket shot, wasn't it? The on drive, a straight drive. It sort of not quite up the hill, not quite up the slope, but yeah, it sort of gathered pace as he'd hit it, really.
Well, there was a bit of a lull after Shorthouse was out, but now the onslaught is well and truly on. Every ball at the moment is going for the boundary. Not that one, though. It's a better delivery, full roundabout off stump. It just squirts away on the offside, which is packed on that in front of that grandstand, and they don't get a run. They'll breathe a sigh of relief after that, the Navy.
Yeah, very much so. It's been a bit of an onslaught for these first 5.2 overs of this innings.
Yeah, and they've done really well, these two batsmen. I don't want to jinx them, but to put the and as you get this one away on the leg side, I suspect it's going to be signalled leg byes. They run for one. Yes, it is. But they just played themselves in for 6-7 deliveries, and then they've put their foot on the accelerator. They're both now in double figures, and that's really what you need to do in a T20. That's all the time you've got.
Yeah, very much so. Adam Fisher at the wicket. He's a bit of a veteran, I think, for this tournament. He's played a few times for the RAF here.
Yes, he's 19 not out now, make that 20-something. He's got that one away off his legs. They've got one. He wants a second. He can't get it. Well, it would have been a risky second. And he's now on 20, 61 for one. We're coming up to the end of the 6th over. So really excellent run rate so far, and just what they needed, the Royal Air Force, to make a contest of this. He's in again now, and that's a good delivery, full, and it's not right onto him, and Diver can just pat it back, and Rutter is onto that very quickly to field off his own bowling, no run.
Be interesting to see what happens to the scoring rate after this last ball of the 6th over. Obviously the 6th over power play. You can see 2 men out on the onside boundary at the moment, but they will need to protect the short side towards the grandstand.
Here he is to bowl it, and that one, he manages to get that one away off his hips. It's fielded by the man at short fine leg, and he drops it, he fields it again, very acrobatically, I have to say. He's kind of rolling over the ball repeatedly, and he manages to get it back to the keeper. Keeps them down to just 1 run off, as you say, Adam, the last ball of that power play. So 62 for 1 after 6 overs. Fisher 20 not out, Diver 13. So yes, we're going to see lots of men being put out on the boundary now, but what we do know is that they cannot drop short, particularly when they're bowling to the right-handers from the nursery end. Because you can put as many fielders on the boundary as you want. It's not going to help when the ball sails over their heads into the grandstand.
No, we've seen that boundary attacked quite a bit today, haven't we? There's going to be a change of bowling as well for the first over outside of the power play. Rob Wigley is into the attack for the Navy. Hails from Birmingham. Served in the Navy for 8 years. He's going to be bowling right arm seam.
Yes, and already we're seeing there's a man on the mid-wicket boundary, there's a man on the fine leg boundary, there's also a man on a square leg in the circle. Mid-off and mid-on are still up, but now he's bowling, and that one is very short. I was looking at the umpire for a signal, but looks like he's got away with that one.
Just the one for the over, I think, rather than a wide or a no ball.
Yes, it was a pretty strange ball. It was a little wide outside the off stump, but certainly very, very short. He attempted to help it on its way, but missed. I think he was lucky to get away with that one. Well, that one is of a fuller length, and he plays it away on the offside. Doesn't manage to beat the fielder. There's just one man there in that point region, Johnson, who's onto it very athletically and prevents a run.
Good start to this over from Rob Wigley. 62 for 1, Royal Air Force, 157 the target.
Tall, strong man, he's in now, and that one is wide of the off stump. He attempts to force it away through the covers, misses, so it goes through to the keeper, who is standing back to him, and back quite a long way. We have seen him stand up to the stumps for the seamers before, but not for Wigley.
Yeah, a bit of extra pace there, I think, and actually that ball seemed to take off a bit, didn't it? It was almost still on the rise when it reached the keeper.
So here he is again, and this one he has managed to get that one away to third man, to the fielder on the boundary, so that's one more to the total. Takes Diver on to 14. But so far this has been a very good over from Wigley. 4 balls, just 1 run coming from it.
Yeah, it's just what the Navy needed, really. Obviously the fielding restrictions relaxed after 6 overs, but it also needs some skilled bowling.
So he's bowling to Fisher now, and that one is very, very wide. Well, maybe I put the commentator's curse on him there. It was almost wide of the cut strip, I think, on the offside. And yeah, pretty much there. And well, all Fisher could do was look at it, and then I don't think he even bothered looking at the umpire for the signal.
No, a bit of a shame that, but important couple of balls coming up now for the end of this over.
So Wigley, and again, that's a good delivery, and it beats him. Well, that genuinely beat Fisher. I think he just got that bit of extra bounce you were talking about there.
Oh, beat him all ends up, didn't it?
It did. That cut him in half. You don't see that all that often. It was, I mean, that was more of a sort of more of a 3-day cricket kind of delivery.
Yeah.
Anyway, here he is again, and he's bowling, and that one is wider outside the off stump. He attempts to cream it through the covers, misses. So another dot ball. There was just that one wide to mar the over, but otherwise an excellent over from Wigley. Just 2 runs coming from it. 64 for 1 after 7 overs.
Yeah, it's a really strong over from Wigley. It's just what the Navy needed in that 7th over of the innings after a blistering power play, really, from the RAF. Like you say, Nick, just the wide, putting a bit of a blot on it. But yeah, hopefully they will hope that he can bring them back into this game a little bit.
And we're going to have another change of bowling from the pavilion end. It's going to be Hill coming on. Looks like he's going to be bowling, I think, some right arm off spin from the pavilion end. Anyway, we'll find out in a moment. I'm just going by his warm-up throws at the moment. Yeah, looks like it's going to be right arm off spin. And he's going to be bowling to Diver, who's 14 not out.
Yeah, it's Nathan Hill. He's bowling leg spin, actually, Nick, by the looks of things.
Oh, that could be exciting. Just moving the field a little bit on the leg side. There's a man at 3/4, and yes, he is bowling a bit of leg spin, and that one he squirts out on the offside Diver, and 1 run off that. So yeah, that one was a little bit wide outside the off stump, gave him the room, but yeah, quite an interesting leg spin action he's got there. And this one again, it's a similar shot, a bit more controlled there by Fisher. Got that one away to the man on the boundary in front of the grandstand for another single.
Obviously a difficult art to bowl leg spin in any format of the game, but sort of the 8th over T20, in a chase like this, it'll need to be controlled, and he's certainly shown that in the early part of this over.
He has indeed. This one is slightly shorter. But all he can do is prod forward, and the keeper's onto it very, very quickly. So a little bit of variation there. Well, this is very good stuff. Very canny bowling so far from Nathan Hill. Making a slight adjustment now. The man at mid-off is coming a little bit closer in. The man at the 3rd man is going into the circle, so perhaps tempting them to drive outside the off stump, but he isn't tempted there. It's a slightly fuller, flatter delivery, and he plays it, punches it down the ground off the back foot. It's fielded by mid-on, and there's no run.
66 for 1, 157 the target. Ross Diver and on strike to Nathan Hill, 15 not out from 20 deliveries, Diver.
So Hill ill again, and that one floated up, and he has managed to get that one away. He's managed to get it over the top of the cover fielders for 4. That one, he just gave them that little bit of width, and he got onto it pretty comfortably. So the first blot on the copybook there from Hill.
Yeah, really strong shot there from Ross Diver. It was a little bit fuller, a little bit more air from Hill, and he didn't give it a chance to turn, really, Diver. He really sort of pummeled that through extra cover. No chance for that man at the sort of mid-on extra coverish position.
So how does Hill respond to that? And that one he's managed to sweep away in front of square. They've run 1, There is the fielder there in front of the boundary and in front of the mound stand. So that's a single to end that over. An interesting one there from Hill, coming on from the pavilion end, bowling leg spin. 7 runs came from it, with just that one boundary. 71 for 1 at the end of the 8th over.
Yeah, it looks like Rob Wigley is going to continue from the nursery end. Bowling with a bit of pace. Just 2 off his first over. One of them wide. Be hoping for a similar over to really drag the Navy, I wouldn't say back into this game, but really give them something to aim for here.
And this one is just clipped away on the offside. They've run one very quickly. There's a bit of a mix-up. He sent him back. No, in the end he gets back quite comfortably, but I think there probably was a second there. Diver certainly wanted it. Fisher certainly wanted it, but Diver sent him back, and for a moment he looked like he might get stranded, but he got back in time for the throw.
Yeah, last thing they want here, the RAF, would be a silly run out really. These two are building a really nice partnership.
As Wigley comes in again, and this one is wide outside the off stump, and he clubs it away through the leg side. Well, we saw a shot like that go for 4 earlier, but on this occasion it didn't beat the man at mid-on. He just gave himself a little bit of room there and smacked it away, looking to get it through mid-wicket, but didn't beat the fielder.
Wigley still showing a lot of control here.
Coming into bowl to Fisher, and Fisher's scooped that one up in the air. Could it be a catch? Oh, the keeper's... Now, what has happened there? I think the keeper has... Well, the keeper caught it. I'm not entirely sure why he isn't out. At any rate, they seem to have run through for 1. I have to say I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Maybe it came off something else, or it was a no ball, I don't know. At any rate, this next ball is played away through the offside down to third man for another single to Fisher. Do you have any ideas?
Well, we're all completely stumped here in the commentary box there. I certainly didn't notice a no ball beforehand if it was a free hit, but the way they reacted, it seemed to be as if it was a free hit, because the keeper, as soon as he caught the ball, turned around and attempted a run out. So
yes, certainly there was no celebration. At any rate, they're still at the crease, Fisher, and Diver is just sending that one away down to third man for a single. Takes the score on to 77 for 1 after that bit of perplexing excitement a couple of balls ago. Things have settled down into a nice steady rhythm. Wigley's continuing to ask some questions of these two batsmen, but they're up to it for the moment. Fisher is on strike. That one is shorter and wider, and it's signalled wide. Well, we saw him do that in the previous over. It's difficult bowling to Fisher because you know that he's going to attack that grandstand boundary.
He's clearly trying to bowl it a little bit wider to Fisher, but it's just a bit too wide. I think he's trying to hide the ball a little bit.
And that one is shorter, and he's clubbed it away through the offside. It's not going to go for 4. It's beaten. It's between the two fielders. They run 2. Yes, I think Fisher has been causing Wigley to do this by stepping outside on the off stump in order to hit it through leg. And Wigley is attempting to compensate for that, and some of the balls are now going for wides. All very canny, cagey stuff, but this is a much more orthodox delivery, full on his off stump, plays it away, thinks about a single, it isn't there. 9 overs gone now, the score is 80 for 1, and it's the 50 partnership of 36 balls, is that? 38 balls. Fisher 26 and Wigley 21.
Yeah, really strong partnership this between Ross Diver and Andy Fisher. 51 out of the 80 for 1 total at the moment. 80 for 1 off 9 overs, 157 the target, and the Navy really need to break this partnership now, I would say, in the next couple of overs. if not sooner.
So this next ball is just played away from Hill. Diver has tucked it away down to third man. They've run through for one. So the leg spinner resuming from the pavilion end. Required run rate is just 7 and over, which you do sense is very gettable with one innings with 9 wickets in hand. Though in the first innings, again, it was the second wicket partnership that where the big runs were scored, as that one is floated up and it's hit straight back to him. Bit of a crowd catch there from Hill.
Well, the equation is 76 from 64 balls, and with this partnership in full flow, you'd make the Navy second favourites at this point.
And he's giving himself a bit of room and attempting to smash that one through the offside. Doesn't get hold of it, so a little moral victory there for Hill, the leg spinner. And that one is cut away, and there's no run because it went straight to a fielder. Tosses it from one hand to another, steps in, and that one is short and it's pulled away. He's not going to get 4 for it. In fact, he's only going to get 1. That mid-wicket area very well protected there in front of the pavilion.
Yeah, quite short from that Hill. Probably want to bowl a little bit fuller than that, and probably thinks himself lucky that he didn't go for a boundary there almost.
Yes, I think he'll feel that he got away with that a little bit, but it's Diver on strike now. He's 23 not out, going at just over a run a ball, and that one is played straight back to him. He dives, attempting to field off his own bowling. He bumps into Fisher at the non-striker's end. There's no run in the end, but all very lively, as you'd expect. You'd expect things to be a bit combative in this fixture, wouldn't you?
A bit tense out there as well. We're just getting to the halfway point of this innings as well, so yeah, plenty to play for here.
He's in again, Hill, and this one is short. He stumped, is he? He is. He attempted to go down the pitch, Diver, and he was beaten, and I'm pretty sure, yes, he was stumped very, very smartly there. And that's Hill punches the air. That was a real. He'll really feel that he deceived the batsman, as you're meant to do as a leg spinner.
Well, that's a big wicket there. They really needed to break this partnership, which they have done with the final ball of that Nathan Hill over. Looked like Diver had eyed up going over the top, missed his shot, and the keeper initially missed a stumping and then managed to gather his momentum at the second attempt. Just watching the replay here, dropped the ball one-handed and took the stump out, and Diver had no chance of making back to his ground. So stumped by marks. Diver goes for 23. He's broken that partnership. The RAF are 82 for 2, needing 75 to win from the final 10 overs of the innings.
Yes, what a way to mark the halfway stage. Well, in films at the halfway stage, the midpoint moment is going to be the big revelation of what's going to happen next. So if this were a script, then that would have been the start of a big collapse or something like this. But is that going to be the case here? Seb comes to join me as we get a bowling change. It's going to be White coming in from the nursery end for the first time. Right arm over the wicket, seam bowler. His first ball is quite full and it's tucked away off his legs. Fisher moves on to 28. It takes the new batsman Sutcliffe onto strike.
Hello again, Nick.
Yes, hello again, Seb. It's all got very eventful, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Look, the RAF were able to continue their momentum with that partnership. That wicket does throw the cat amongst the pigeons. So we're headed for an exciting 10 overs here.
We are indeed, and that's a good ball from White. It's a heavy delivery, full and straight, and just padded back for no run by Sutcliffe, who's just come to the crease.
Yeah, Adam Sutcliffe, hailing from York, achieved the rank of corporal in his time in the Royal Air Force so far. We'll be looking to score here.
He's got a high backlift, and oh my goodness, he's gone over the top, smooth as you like. It's going to go for 4, but that's an absolutely lovely stroke to get off the mark. He just took a couple of small steps forward, and then easy as you like, lifted him over the top for 4 to long on.
I said he'd be aiming to score here, and he's done just that with a lovely stroke, a lovely on drive there. A bit of a conference going down at the nursery end between White, and I can't quite spot who that is with him. I think that's Brendan Streever. Drying the ball. We did have a bit of rain earlier, so maybe an element of dew still remains on the outfield.
Well, mid on and mid off are still up, and that ball is shorter. He's smashed that one away into the grandstand for 6. Well, how many times have we said that in this innings? You cannot bowl short. Well, it wasn't actually that short. Looking at it on the replay, he just made it look that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of a short arm jab into the grandstand.
You're spot on. It's a fantastic shot there. The pull shot, as you say, it's slightly fuller than some of the ones we've seen earlier, but I'll tell you what, if you're sat in the grandstand, you better watch out. It's raining balls over there.
Yes, indeed. Well, Sutcliffe, 10 off 3 balls, played himself in with that first delivery, which he blocked, and then went down the pitch for a 6 and for a 4, and now a short hard jab for 6. What's he going to come up with next? This next delivery is shorter, it's slower. He's pulled it away. He runs through for 1. Are they going to get a second? No. They think about it, but it was far too risky.
Yeah, well, he did stumble there, Fisher, actually, when they were sort of thinking about going for a second run. He recovered his footing well enough.
I wonder if it isn't a little bit slippery out there. We have had a fair bit of rain.
Yeah, I mean, we are famous for drainage here at Lords, but it, you know, it still may be a bit of dew there.
Absolutely. Well, this ball is full and straight and driven. Well, that was a lovely shot. An extra cover drive. MCC textbook stuff. And that is 4 runs.
It's straight out of the coaching manual, and to be honest with you, Mr. Von Schlipper, that's my favourite shot of the day. That's a glorious cover drive there from Sutcliffe, who has really looked positive since coming to the crease. As you say, touch outside off there, and you know, when you bowl sort of that height to a player of Sutcliffe's calibre, you can expect for it to reach the offside boundary.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. It's 98 for 2 at the end of 11 overs. Run required rate is now down to 6.6, and Sutcliffe, who's just come to the crease, 11 off just 4 balls. Well, we were talking about what a great partnership it was when Diver was there, but since Sutcliffe came in, it's accelerated even more.
Yeah, they do look in control, you have to say. I don't want to put the curse of the commentator on them here, but they look in control. They beat the Army a couple of days ago, so they are the form team this year. They just fell short to the Army in their repeat earlier today, but looked great. And they're looking in control again here, the RAF.
So Hill, the leg spinner, is coming off. It's going to be Walton replacing him from the pavilion end. From a neutral point of view, I have to say it's a bit of a shame, because I was enjoying the confrontation with the leg spinner. It was looking quite interesting, but let's see what Walton is going to do. Let's see what he's going to bowl. It looks like it's going to be right arm off spin. And that first delivery, he attempts to flick it away, Sutcliffe, but doesn't get hold of it. There's no run.
Yeah, Matt Walton, who has been in the Navy for 18 months.
In fact, no, this looks like this looks like he's bowling leg spin as well to
Give me a couple of balls.
Anyway, that one he got away for 2 on the leg side.
That did turn towards the leg side, so I think you are correct.
It's just from the nature of the action. It can be tricky for us to tell, especially since he's bowling it pretty quickly, so it's not going to turn all that much at this pace. But this one's gone straight up into the air, but it's dropped safely. Well, that dropped. mean, you don't really get a fielder there, do you? It kind of went behind the keeper's head, slightly to his left. I mean, basically you'd have needed to have a slip on the edge of the circle there. It landed in that kind of area. But it was a top edge that really could have gone anywhere. Anyway, he's safe there. Sutcliffe is facing 15 not out. That one is a full toss, which he has dispatched to the boundary on the grandstand for 4.
Corporal Adam Sutcliffe, take a bow. It's not the best ball he'll face today. It's a full toss, but he just gives himself that extra bit of room and cuts it away to that short boundary by the grandstand.
And this next ball beats him as he goes down and attempts to smash it away through the leg side. So that's a moral victory for the bowler there. Let's see what happened there. Yes, he basically... Oh, it hit him on the pad. So he missed that one. And this next one is another full toss. He's hit it away on the leg side. They're just going to get 1 for it, though. Takes a score on to 107 for 2. Sutcliffe 20 not out of 10 balls. That over going for 9 runs from Walton. Didn't really look like he was troubling the batsman too much, and 1 full toss really asking to be hit.
Yeah, a couple of loose ones in there from Walton will be interesting. I mean, again, you can't look. It's approaching 7 o'clock here at Lords. They've been waiting around all day. They'll have of course had plenty of practice today, but you can forgive him for bowling a couple of loose ones in his first over.
Absolutely, yes. It's unfortunate, but it is difficult coming on here at Lords. It looks like Hill is going to come on from the nursery end now, so a change of ends for him. He's bowled 2 overs, taken 1 for 9 from the pavilion end. So far the field, of course, scattered now, long on and long off or down on the boundary. There are 3 men in the circle on the offside for Sutcliffe, and then the grandstand boundary absolutely well populated, and he gets down, plays a little bit of football there to save a run. It's driven back to him, and he plays it with his left foot and manages to stop the ball. So Hill coming in, the leg spinner from the nursery end. That one is slightly short, and he smashed it away. He's got that one away from the grandstand for 6, a little bit short, and he was onto it like a flash. Sutcliffe takes him on to 26.
Well, he's been moved to the nursery end, has Hill, presumably because his leg spin will turn towards the shorter boundary, but Sutcliffe pays no attention to that whatsoever and says, nope, I'm still going to whack you into the short boundary of the grandstand. He does so gets 6.
Well, that one is a flatter delivery. He went down the pitch and attempted to hammer it past Hill. It went straight to him. He shied at the stump, so it's all happening. Plenty of aggression there.
That's what we want to see.
Absolutely, and it's really exciting with Hill bowling, isn't it? You just don't know what's going to happen next.
Absolutely.
He throws it from one hand to another. Comes in again. This one is looped up, and he's forward attempting to hit that one away on the leg side again. He just dribbles along the ground. They get a single there.
It's a fuller delivery that, but it looked like it did just in time to sort of avoid the pull shot there. It's good control from Hill.
So Fisher's on strike now, and that one is floated up roundabout off stump. He's driving. He gets 1 for it, but it's well stopped by the man at mid-off. Just the single. So 1 ball left of this over. It's going to be Sutcliffe facing. Very high backlift now, looking to hit everything for 6, and it looks like he has hit that one for 6. Wow. Into the grandstand.
What a tremendous heave that was.
Yes.
A fantastic shot, and it takes the amount of runs needed to win down to 36 with 42 balls remaining here, otherwise known as 7 overs. It's a tremendous shot that from
Nothing
Sutcliffe.
Much wrong with the delivery, was it? It was all Sutcliffe who made that with this huge backlift and the power of his hitting. as you say, the ball is turning away from that shot, so there should be an element of risk, but it doesn't look like it when Sutcliffe's hitting it like that.
Exactly. They're firmly
39
poised
off 15
here.
balls.
Just whilst we're in between overs, we have had an email in from George Idenden, who has said that he's enjoying the commentary this evening. Well, thank you very much, George.
Oh, thank you very much. We're delighted to hear it. But I got that wrong earlier. It's 33 off 15 balls. Sutcliffe hasn't got to 39 quite yet. But yes, thank you for your emails. And it's going to be Walton continuing from the pavilion end, bowling to Fisher, and that one is Fuller, and he's hit it up in the air, and he's managed to get it past the fielders. It's gone for 4 in front of the grandstand. So again, a huge momentum with the batsman.
Yeah, it's classic stuff, that how to face spin bowling when you want to create a bit of room. He takes a step away from the stumps, gives himself that bit of room, and is able to drive it through the offside.
Walton in again, and he's attempting to hit that one past down to the fine leg boundary. Fine leg is up, just gets a bit of a bottom edge, hits the keeper on the pad. No one knows where it's gone for a moment, but then it's no run there. But that is 4 runs. He's just down the wicket and flat batting that through mid-wicket for 4. That's a long boundary with 2 fielders, but neither of them had any chance there.
What power from Fisher there, who's looking very, very comfortable, it has to be said. Both of these players are, yeah, a slightly, a delivery that was there to be got, but the power of that shot was immense.
A bit of Kevin Peterson about that one, I think. That one is driven much more subtly through the offside. It's picked up on the boundary. They've run 2. The fielder got down on it well, but he was so far away there in front of the Warner stand that they were able to run a second quite comfortably. Fisher on 43 now. And Walton bowls, he checks his delivery and then ends up bowling a flat ball down the leg side, which is signalled wide.
It's a shame that for Walton, you can't afford to be giving runs away at this stage.
He's in again now. That's a better delivery. He's got it away on the leg side, and they just trot through for 1. That man we were talking about earlier inside the circle on the leg side is down to his left to field. That's Wigley, in fact, who's been bowling at the nursery end. Got down very well, keeps them down to 1. So it's going to be Sutcliffe facing, and he's flat batting that one through the offside. He's got it through. I don't think it's going to quite make it to the boundary. It was well fielded there, but they did manage to run for 2.
So it's 22 runs to win at the end of the 14th over. They've got 8 wickets to play with as well, have the Royal Air Force, so firmly in control, you'd have to say.
Absolutely. I don't know what the equation is for them to actually win the trophy, the RAF. I do know that I think Adam may have some information on this. I do know that they beat the Army, that the Navy beat the Army fairly comfortably, while the Army beat the Air Force. So the Air Force really have to win this by a big margin, and it looks like they're on course to do that. Whether it's going to be big enough, we're not quite sure.
We've had confirmation it will go down to run rate. Exactly what is required, unfortunately, we're unaware of. I believe they might still be working through that. But as you say, if it does go down to run rate, they are looking in a very nice spot, really, it has to be said.
So it looks like Wigley's replacing Hill. Hill 1 for 23 off his 3 overs, but Wigley, the seamer, is bowling, and it gets flat battered through the leg side by Fisher. He's played that shot a number of times, just goes for 1 on this occasion, but that'll do nicely. The required run rate is just down to 3.6, so really they can just stroll this to victory now, unless there is that relative run rate issue that they're concerned about. Anyway, this next ball is shorter, and he's attempting to smash it through the grandstand. He misses, it goes through the keeper. So a rare sight that, Seb, that a batsman beaten.
Yeah, and Wigley's look good so far, I have to say. if he can keep it tight at this end, it's all he can do to keep his team in the mix. So he started well in this over.
Absolutely, yeah, there's been the odd wide ball, but that's another good one, and he does get that extra bit of bounce. So this ball is up to him, and he attempts to smash it away into the grandstand, misses completely, and it does take off that little bit.
Yeah, he's another one with a high action, Rob Wigley, and it does help generating that bit of bounce, as we've seen in this over so far.
Plus it is probably getting that little bit darker. This one is slightly shorter. It was probably asking to be hit, but he missed it again. So he's been beaten, that's what, 3 times now, Sutcliffe. Can't remember when it happened previously,
well,
to be honest.
I don't think he has. He charges down the wicket slightly there, takes a couple of paces, you know, goes for the big shot again, but, you know, it's a carbon copy of the last couple of balls.
Well, they're probably going to need more than dot balls, but this certainly helps. This one, however, is not going to help, is it?
Oh,
it was beautifully taken. He's out, he's caught right on the boundary, one-handed. A really superb catch there by Edworthy, who was going for another big shot at the grandstand, into the grandstand. Didn't quite get hold of it. It was up in the air a long time, and then Edworthy, right on the boundary edge, managed to catch it. He stretched out his right hand, caught it one-handed, and that is, I think that, I'm not actually sure which of the batsmen is
Sutcliffe.
out. I think it's, yes, Sutcliffe, yes.
Well, let me tell you something, Nick, that is perhaps the best bit of cricket we've seen all day. I thought it was certain to go for another 6 in that same region we've called so many times earlier. Well, Edworthy just falls just short of that boundary by the grandstand, and it's incredible athleticism. I shouldn't try and say that word again, and balance to keep hold of that one. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, really, really impressive. Well, if that turns the game, that really will be the moment. You suspect it probably won't. The run rate is still only 4.1, but a big moment, and they do just need to keep themselves in the game. That, unfortunately, isn't going to help. That's a bouncer which has signalled no ball. I think that went over head height. Is that going to be a free hit as well?
It's a no ball. We should see the signal there. It's just signalling one bouncer for the over.
No free hit. And he's in again, and this one he's hit up in the air, and that one he has got hold of it, and that has gone for 6 into the grandstand. So Hansford, the new batsman, off the mark in style, just gave himself a little bit of room and freed his arms, smashed it away into the leg side boundary.
Well, we said earlier we don't like to make cheesy puns, but you have to say the RAF are flying here. That is perhaps the biggest shot of the day, into the top of the grandstand. Someone go and fetch that ball.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that really is an outstanding shot. It was a pretty full delivery. It wasn't sort of there asking to be hit or anything, and he just, second ball he's faced. It seems to be the norm. He gave himself the room and hit it for 6, as Sutcliffe did previously. Sutcliffe, who went down the pitch and hit it for 4. Thanks very much to Seb, and Adam has rejoined me for the last few overs. I can tell you that we have 15 overs bowled, so 5 remaining, and just 14 runs needed to win.
Yeah, the RAF have made light work of this total, really. We thought it was probably just above par. I think we were probably wrong, Nick.
Yes. Well, they have batted really well, it has to be said, and they've just taken all the opportunities that were there, and created opportunities as well.
Yeah. When you consider the bowling figures of Rob Wigley, 1 for 19 from his 3 overs, Rutter has bowled 3 overs, 0 for 18, so you know, these two bowlers have been very tight in the circumstances.
Yeah, so Rutter in again bowling, and that one is driven away up to the man at long off. They run one, they run a pretty risky second. In fact, he's run out. Well, big moment there, possibly. I think it's Hansford who's gone. They were running a risky second. We have seen, I think, all of those so far today they've got away with, but on that occasion the throw actually beat him. It was from a long way. It was all the way off to the long off boundary, but he managed to get it right into the keeper's hands just before Hansford got it back.
Yeah, really smart bit of fielding, but it was a poor bit of running, really, given that they only needed 14 from the last 30 balls before the start of that over. They had no real need to push for that second, and they've been punished for it, sadly.
So a couple of wickets going down in double quick time. Hollingworth is the new batsman. Again, still you would say the smart money's on the batting side, but when wickets start to go down, nerves creep in. You never know. This next ball is driven down the ground. They run one. Are they taking on another second? Could there be another run out? I think there is. Yes, there is indeed. Well, that's just astonishing. I really thought after what happened at the previous delivery they were just going to settle for one off his first ball. But no, Hollingworth came back for the second. It was driven up to long on this time. And again, it was a repeat. The throw back to the keeper and the batsman short.
Lightning striking twice in 2 balls there. Harry Hollingsworth, he ran the first and he did actually slip. If you look at the replay, and whether he called Fisher a no there, but he really, after that slip, he had little chance of making his ground with any kind of throw to that bowler's end. And 2 in 2 balls, well, again, the equation still favours the RAF, but when wickets start tumbling, you never quite know.
Absolutely. Well, Adam, have you ever seen a hat-trick of run-outs?
I can't ever think of the time when it's happened.
I certainly haven't in many, many years following cricket.
I mean, Adam Fisher is now 47 from 31 balls, and he's on strike, which is a key thing for the RAF. But they've got to get this running sorted.
So Stefan is now on strike here, and that first delivery is driven out on the offside. They run one. Are they going to come for a second? No. And there is a very loud cheer for this decision.
They thought about, they gave it half a second's thought, I think, but no, there was certainly never 2 there, and as it turned out, there wasn't 2 in the previous 2 balls either.
Yes, indeed. That would have been quite something, but there you go, it didn't happen. So, in fact, now Stefan is on strike now, is that correct? I'm not sure that I agree with the scoreboard here. Anyway, this ball is hit straight up into the air. This is going to be out, this should be caught, and yes, it is caught by Marks. So that is the wicket gone. Now, is that Fisher the danger man? I thought, no, it is Stefan who was on strike.
Yeah, they only took the single there in the end, so Thomas Stefan was on strike. He's gone for a big shot, first ball, spooned straight up in the air, directly on the pitch really, and the keepers just had to come in front of the pitch, and Marks has taken a very simple catch. So this over has completely changed the complexion of the scoreboard. 146 for 6. As we keep saying, still heavily stacked in the favour of the Royal Air Force. 11 needed from 26 deliveries, but 4 wickets in hand now. And Sean McCabe comes to the wicket to join Adam Fisher, who's unbeaten on 48 from 32 deliveries. 2 balls left in this over. I'm not quite sure what is going to happen.
Absolutely. Well, required run rate is now down to 2.5 with all those singles that they've been taking before getting run out. But yes, the way things are going, really anything could happen now. And this is the beauty of limited overs cricket, that it all looks like plain sailing until the wicket goes down, and then suddenly everything changes. So it's going to be McCabe on strike, facing his first delivery, and well, that one nearly got through. It was a Yorker. I thought for a moment that it had, and what happened? I think he got an inside edge onto his pad. He didn't know much about it, and there was a large ooh from the crowd. The fielders had their head on their hands. So nearly a wicket first ball.
And importantly for the Navy, it's a dot ball.
So McCabe facing Rutter again at the end of this extraordinary over, and that one hits him on the pad. There's no appeal. I'm sure it was going down leg side. He was attempting to force it away off his legs. So at the end of that over, 146 for 6. McCabe's just come to the crease. He's not out of 2 balls. Fisher is 48 not out of 32. 3 wickets went down in that over, 2 run-outs in 2 balls. Then Stefan, first ball, hit it straight up into the air and was caught. And, well, what an extraordinary end to the day's play, Adam.
I'm just quickly going to give a shout out to Graham Kenyon in Manchester, who's listened to our commentary, just to explain the format of the day very quickly. So obviously now we're watching the RAF play the Navy.
As Wigley comes in and Fisher is driving, and he's gone straight to the fielder from the non-striker's end. McCabe was going down for a run, but now there's enormous excitement every time that situation arises, but he turned back and made it back quite comfortably.
And then in the previous match, RAF played the Army, which the Army won by a narrow margin.
As Wigley comes in again, right arms over the wicket seamer, and that one is floated outside the off stump. You can't give him room there, Fisher, but he's only going to get 1 for it, so they're going to be happy enough to get him off strike.
And then a couple of days ago, the Navy played the Army at Middleton Cricket Club. The Navy coming out victorious in that match. So assuming the RAF can get over the line here, 10 needed from 22 balls, each team will have won 1 match.
And, well, he's playing and missing at that one. It was slightly short of a length. He attempted to go on the back foot and force it out on the offside. Missed McCabe, so he's yet to score after facing 3 deliveries.
And just a quick word, we have been fairly fortunate with the weather in the latter half of the day, but unfortunately it was quite wet this morning, and the women's match, which was MCC women against the combined UCAFCA women's team, fell by the wayside, and unfortunately there wasn't a ball bowled in that game.
And this ball is driven straight back to the bowler, and McCabe, oh, there's a misfield, and they run 1 for it. Oh, well, that was completely unnecessary. McCabe fielded off his own bowling, and the man at mid-off, I think he just dropped the ball, and they managed to run 1, which completely wasn't there.
It was a no ball as well, and it looks like it's going to be a free hit.
Well, that's all gone wrong. 149 for 6 and a free hit, and Fisher is on strike, and he is, well, that one is wide. Now, it'll be interesting to see that one on the replay, because I thought Fisher was going out onto the offside, and, well, okay, he did. He took a step to the offside, and McCabe, Wigley, in attempting to follow him, got it so wide that, yes, it did have to be called that way. So this is still a free hit as he comes in again, Wigley, and this one is another wide, and this time Fisher stayed in place, and that one is wide of the cut strip. So that brings up the 150. In fact, no, that's 151 for 6 now. It's still a free hit. You sense that probably signals the end of the game. These multiple wides and no balls, but let's see what's going to happen. He's in again, Wigley. He's bowling, and he's got that one away. They're just going to get 1 for it. Fisher gets his 50. 35 balls, 6 fours and 1 6.
Yeah, he's batted very well, Adam Fisher. He's kept his head when those wickets did fall. I know he may be accused of his teammates of maybe having a hand in a couple of those run-outs, but he's batted very, very well. And the RAF are just about to get over the line here. 5 needed from 20 deliveries if they need them.
So McCabe is attempting to force that one away through the offside and misses again. He is finding it hard to lay bat on ball. He's only just come to the crease. He's faced 5 balls and managed to get 1.
As well as Rob Wigley's bowled in his 4 overs, I think this over has been the point where any lingering hopes for the Navy may have disappeared, really, especially with those extras.
And this ball, he does lay bat on it. It goes up into the air on the offside, but it lands comfortably in between the 3 fielders there. So he gets his 2nd run. That is the end of the over, I believe. Yes. Yes, that's the end of the 17th over. It does mean that Fisher is off strike again, but McCabe, 2 not out, is on strike, and they just need 4 runs now off 18 balls.
Yeah, the overs remaining won't be an issue for the RAF now. Just the 4 runs needed. Nathan Hill is coming back into the attack at the pavilion end. The leg spin of Hill, he's bowled 3 overs, 1 for 23. Probably a last throw of the dice, I think, for the Navy here.
Well, definitely. See if he can spin them out. It would be quite a feat, but looking pretty unlikely here. So it's going to be McCabe facing. Just 2 not out. Some adjustments made to the field. Of course, it's scattered all around the ground now. But they'll want to keep McCabe on strike. They don't want Fisher. They don't want him to get a single anywhere. So there are 4 men inside the circle. As Hill comes in from the pavilion end, and that one is floated up, and well, he was attempting to give it the big heave, and he got a bottom edge, and it's just dribbled down onto his foot.
Really well bowled that from Hill. He had to be brave in that situation to give it some air, and he got his rewards in the shape of a dot ball, but yeah, really well bowled.
Now he's in again, and that one is fuller and flatter, and it's hit him on the pad, and they've run through for a leg by. That's an enormous appeal, as you'd expect at this stage of the game. Hard to tell on the replay. I suspect that it hit him outside the line of off stump, and he was certainly playing a shot. He was attempting to hit that one through leg side.
Yeah, replay is at an angle, but it was certainly close, I think. But like you say, I think it's probably struck him outside the line.
And this one is played away on the offside. It's just 1 run to Fisher. So that means the equation is now just 2 runs needed off 15 balls. So really, they need 4 wickets pretty much right now. McCabe is on strike. He's 3 not out. Hill comes in again, and that one does beat him. He's there's no run. They thought about running a leg by, I think. Yes, he's attempting to work it off his legs. He was hit on the pad.
Well, it might be a little bit too late, but this has been a good over from Hill.
It has indeed, and he's been great to watch. He's always got some tricks up his sleeve, and this next one is floated up, and it's bowled him. Well, perhaps there is a final twist in this game.
Well, he deserved that wicket in that over. It's been a fantastic over, still a ball to go, but yeah, maybe a little bit too late, but perhaps there is a twist. 13 balls left, only 2 needed. You'd like to think that RAF would get over the line from here, but we've seen wickets fall, and 7 down now. It's not beyond the realms, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it was just a lovely delivery to bowl to him. It was. I mean, he's not getting a huge amount of turn, but there are these little variations. That one was. I don't know if we can really talk about sort of sliders or things like this, but it was a very good ball to a batsman in McCabe's situation, who's just come in, because it was just tempting him right in front of him to go for the big hit, and then it went on straight after he missed and hit the stumps. So excellent bowling.
Well, from a Navy point of view, Nathan Hill needs to repeat the trick here, really. If there's no run off this ball, then Adam Fisher is going to be on strike on 51 from 36 deliveries in the next over. John Hawke strides to the crease, the number 9 bat for the RAF. There's a lot of men inside the ring
and a slip. Always good to see a slip in the last overs.
Stage, yeah.
And well, that one is slightly wide of off stump. He attempted to get it away, he missed it, but it's a dot ball and they need wickets.
Yes, they do. Just 2 runs needed now. 3 wickets required, really, if they're going to win this game, the Navy. And as I say, Adam Fisher on strike. 51 not out. Has batted very, very well in this innings.
Yes, 2 for 25 of his 4 overs, Hill. He's bowled very well, very entertainingly. And it's going to be Johnson coming in. Well, he was expensive earlier. 43 runs came off his 3 overs, but he did take the crucial wicket of Shorthouse at the beginning. Anyway, here he is again. Can he take another crucial wicket? Not with that delivery. He's got that one away for 1. He's thinking about the second that would win them the game, but hasn't quite made it, Fisher. So that means Hawke is on strike to face his second delivery. Hasn't scored yet, but if he does, that's going to be the winning run.
Yeah, well, the scores are tied now, and realistically, unless Benjamin Johnston's got a hat-trick up his sleeve, I think we're going to see the RAF win this game. We're not entirely sure what that means for the outcome of the tournament at the moment, but we're hoping to hear very soon.
So all the fielders within the circle now, as you'd expect, attempting to save the single, and it's going to be a run out, is it? No! Well, that was agonizingly close to a run out. A better throw would have done it. There is actually a slip in there, and it was played just to the slip's right. He got down as the batsman was running for the single, Hawke. He was sent back by Fisher absolutely correctly. A better throw and he would have been in no man's land, but the throw was too far away from marks and he wasn't able to get them onto the stumps. And this next ball is driven, but only as to the man at point.
Well, it should have been a wicket, shouldn't it? It only went as far as slip, and the man at slip just threw it too far out of the reach of Marks, who would have had an easy task to take the bails off had the ball been anywhere near his gloves. So missed opportunity there.
Indeed, as Marks stands up to him, and that's a good delivery, which again nearly gets through from Johnson. It's a slower ball Yorker, I think. And, well, it wasn't quite directed onto the stumps, but another moral victory to the bowler with just 1 run needed. They aren't giving up without a fight. He's in again now, and that one, he has managed to get it through the covers, and that's going to go for 4, and that is the victory for the Royal Air Force. His first scoring stroke is the last stroke of the game. Hawke finishes 4 not out, Fisher 52 not out at the other end, and that is a victory in the end by just 3 wickets for the Royal Air Force. We thought it was going to be a lot more comfortable than that at one point, but then there was a bit of a clatter of wickets near the end. And a very well-deserved victory there, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, we thought the score was maybe slightly above par. We were wrong. And we've just had confirmation that the Navy, even though they've lost that game, are the champions. So the run rate which the RAF accumulated in that game and the wickets they lost towards the end have cost them the tournament.
Yes, indeed.
So it's gone from despair for the Navy to absolute jubilation and scenes of joy at Lord's.
Yes, there were just 7 balls to go at the end of that match. I had a feeling that they needed to finish the game with about 4 or 5 overs to go, which they looked to be on course for a while, and then it all became much more difficult. But anyway, congratulations to the RAF for winning the match. Congratulations to the Navy for winning the tournament. Well played to the Army. And thank you very much, Adam. Thank you very much, Seb. Thank you very much to all our commentators and to all our listeners. It's been a real pleasure working here today and commentating for you. And from Lords, until next time.
taken by the number 4, and it's in the back of the net. Deep into enemy territory on the end of it.
There's a goal.
It's in. Dante. He's push it wide. Would you believe it?
From Scarrett there into Kennedy.
Oh, and it's number 6.
Finish.
Gets the ball across. That's a great early save. And they're coming through again.